especially when we were not allowed face-to-face physical classes. At the Sunway Education Group, we strive to ensure that our students continue their learning no matter the situation or wherever they are. Together with all other education institutions around the whole country, we have adopted various methods to ensure that our students Learning should be a continuous and lifelong journey.
tuan-tuan dan puan-puan yang menunggu giliran, sesi temuduka sila ke hadapan, kami bawakan anda penceramah bagi berkongsi pengalaman dan topik-topik untuk menghadapi temuduka. To all ladies and gentlemen, job seekers out there, please feel free to come forward. We are actually sharing the knowledge and tips how to go about on interviews. So feel free to come forward. Burung kenari menuju ke paya, cuba mendarat mencari jerami. Tuan kemari besar maknanya, memenuhi hasrat di hati kami. Salam perkenalan, salam inspirasi. Selamat datang ke Majlis Seminar Kerjaya, Karnival Kerjaya Keluarga Malaysia 2021. Yang berusaha Encik Roshaimi bin Mat Rosli, Ketua Bahagian Perkhidmatan Pekerjaan Perkeso. Yang berusaha Puan Gayatri Vadivil, Ketua Cawangan Bahagian Perkhidmatan Pekerjaan Perkeso, dan wakil dari agensi yang terlibat semalam, hari ini bersamaan dengan 10 Disember 2021 sehingga 11 Disember 2021 iaitu hari Sabtu esok. Tidak juga lupa kepada wakil-wakil majikan pencari kerja graduan yang hadir pada hari ini, murid, pelajar sekolah, terima kasih pihak kami ucapkan pada anda semua kerana meluangkan masa hadirkan diri bersama kami pada pagi ini. Pihak penganjur berasa amat kagum dan rendah hati atas segala dan inspirasi yang diberikan oleh anda semua bagi menjayakan majlis yang amat bermakna ini untuk masyarakat keluarga Malaysia. Sememangnya majlis ini merupakan majlis bersejarah lagi bermakna yang bakal memberikan pertolongan meningkatkan bilangan penempatan pekerjaan dalam kalangan masyarakat Malaysia. Saya Bhavika Sri Nair merupakan pengerusi majlis pagi hari ini mengalu-alukan kehadiran para hadirin. Sidang hadirin yang kami hargai. Konsep keluarga Malaysia menggariskan 3 teras utama dan 20 nilai yang mendasari kerajaan baru pimpinan Perdana Menteri Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob untuk bekerja bersama-sama dalam memulihkan negara daripada masalah dan kesan pandemik COVID-19. Kami di Pertubuhan Keselamatan Sosial Perkeso juga komited dengan melaksana dan menjayakan inisiatif package perlindungan rakyat dan pemulihan ekonomi pemulih bagi memastikan kelangsungan hidup rakyat negara ini. Antara inisiatif pemulih yang dilaksana Perkeso adalah program subsidi upah PSU 4.0, Penjana Kerjaya 3.0, insentif penempatan pekerjaan untuk agensi pekerjaan swasta dan perluasan alaun mencari pekerjaan. Syukur kita kerana kita dapat menjalankan program pada kali ini selepas negara kita dalam keadaan berehat sebentar akibat COVID-19 yang telah reda tetapi masih ada di dalam negara kita. Oleh sebab itu, kehadiran tuan-tuan dan puan-puan amat bermakna bagi Perkeso sebagai tanda sokongan berterusan. Tanpa sokongan padu, para hadirin semua, program seperti ini tidak dapat dijalankan. Seminar kerjaya yang diadakan pada kali ini berteraskan kebolehpekerjaan atau lebih dikenali sebagai employability, di mana kami membawakan penceramah-penceramah dari pelbagai agensi dan bidang yang akan memberikan tips-tips dan pandangan mereka di mana para hadirin boleh menimba ilmu untuk digunakan dalam pencarian kerja kelak nanti. Inilah komitmen bagi melafazkan nafas baru, komitmen bagi mewarnai kehidupan serta komitmen kerajaan menepati janji. Sebagai ringkasan untuk hari ini, kami membawakan slot-slot untuk anda. Jadi jangan ke mana-mana. Sebagai ringkasan, Encik Nik Akmal Atif dengan tajuk 10 persediaan cari kerja. Encik Moyhan dengan tajuknya Penjenamaan Individu dan Kebolehpekerjaan. Kedua-dua penjamaran ini dibawakan khas oleh Talent Corp. Seterusnya, kita akan bersama dengan Encik Paul Kang, Ketua Cawangan Bahagian Strategi dan Transformasi di Perkeso. Dan yang terakhir, kita akan bersama dengan Puan Zeti, Talent Acquisition dan Branding of KPMG Malaysia. Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan yang dihormati, pagi tadi majlis diserikan dengan tayangan video bertajuk Shining a Light for Personal and Professional Growth dari Profesor Elizabeth Lee. Sidang hadirin yang dikasihi, wilayah persekutuan indah berseri, ditanam bunga berwarna-warni. Keluarga Malaysia, slogan Perdana Menteri, sentiasa dilaung di sana sini. Kita teruskan sesi kita pada pagi ini dengan menjemput penceramah yang dibawakan oleh Talent Corp, iaitu Encik Nick Akmal dari Career Cube yang bertajuk 10 Persediaan Cari Kerja. Dengan segala hormatnya, majlis mempersilakan.
Assalamualaikum, selamat pagi. Suara saya tak kuat ya? Assalamualaikum dan selamat pagi. Volume ni okey? Okey alright. Tuan-tuan izinkan saya ambil adapt masa 1 minit sebab 2 tahun tak buat program bersemuka. Biasanya online sahaja. Now, dengan izin, tangan siapa di sini yang mencari kerja? Baik, terima kasih. Siapa di sini majikan mencari talent? Baik. Siapa di sini masih lagi belajar? Alright, siapa di sini yang datang jalan-jalan saja? Alright. Siapa di sini blur? Entah kenapa bangun pagi datang sini. Cikgu pasal. Baik. Sekali lagi Assalamualaikum, salam perkenalan. Saya Ni Akmal daripada Career Cube, bekerjasama dengan Talent Corp. Talent Corp adalah satu agensi tuan-tuan yang menguruskan talent dalam Malaysia. Itu bahasa mudah dia lah. So sampai satu masa tuan-tuan cik puan yang akan berada di depan saya ini daripada sekolah, yang anda yang mencari kerja di luar sana, kita adalah tenaga kerja dalam negara dan each one of us menyumbang kepada GDP negara. If you would like to see better Malaysia, then you need to perform your job. Sebab setiap anda menghasilkan output anda adalah GDP pada negara, which is ekonomi negara lah. Itu bahasa mudah. Baik, hari ini audiens saya berada pada online di Facebook IAS Perkeso, betulkan saya? Kan? Kedua adalah pada live tuan-tuan di dalam Dewan hari ini di KLCC, KL Convert, Hall 6. 10 perkara tuan-tuan saya nak bawakan kepada anda. Mungkin pernah dengar, jangan risau. Tapi saya nak buat benda ni, dia adalah fundamental. Tak ada teknik bombastik, tidak ada pil anda makan, settle. Tak ada. Yang saya bawa pada anda, kena buat. It's just a correct way to do it. Boleh nak? Tahun akhir kalau ada di sini masih belajar, kalau diploma, saya percaya walaupun anda belum cari kerja, boleh mula sekarang. Baik. Tuan-tuan, angkat tangan kanan. Letak atas bahu kiri dan tepuk. Siapa yang datang hari ini sebut good job pada diri sendiri. Orang lain pergi tempat lain, anda datang, volunteer. Baik. Tuan-tuan cik puan yang cari kerja sana menunggu, good job, tahniah. It is the first step for you towards a better future lah insyaAllah. Moga-moga ada rezeki pada hari ini. Baik, saya pergi yang pertama. Ini pengenalan diri saya. Saya mohon izin untuk proceed saja. Ni Akmal daripada Career Cube. Kami adalah Graduate Advancement Center. Itu saja. Konsultan kerjaya. Nak minta advice? Boleh. Kami tak sediakan peluang kerja. Kami guide anda untuk dapat kerja dengan lebih baik. That's all. Alright, now before we proceed, mereka yang berada pada online boleh tinggalkan komen pada Facebook IAS Perkeso. Let's go. Dan tuan-tuan cik puan, siapa yang rasa dah boleh mula, can give me a thumb up. Alright. Dalam area ni saja, di luar sana tuan-tuan anda boleh dengar saya di luar sana sambil berborak. Jika ada benefit give me a thumb up. Kalau rasa betul lah point dia, thumb up. Baru saya rasa okey, dia dengar. Alright, thank you very much. Mari kita masuk pada poin pertama. Right. Benda yang paling klise, kalau sekolah rendah anda akan, adik-adik cuba bayangkan apa adik nak jadi nanti. Apa cita-cita anda? Itu sekolah rendah. Sekolah menengah pun cerita sama, motivator datang. Tuan-tuan, percaya tak percaya, universiti pun orientasi apa anda nak. Dan bila bekerja, kita akan tanya soalan sama. Apa anda nak? Bang, klisenya. Ya, betul. Masuk dalam dunia corporate, tuan-tuan, kita tak tanya apa cita-cita kita. Kita tanya apa? Ayat dia corporate sikit. Kita MBO, Management by Objective. Bahasa kasar dia, tuan-tuan, apa yang kau nak, apa syarikat nak. Oops, sorry. Itu je. Sama macam kami career consultant, orang tanya, tuan, saya nak minta advice. Saya nak kerja gini, gini, gini. Resume saya okey tak? Jawapan saya kembali, anda nak kerja apa sebenarnya? Dia back to basic. Apa yang kita nak. Tuan-tuan, dengan izin, di depan saya ni mungkin umur dalam 20 plus, betul 19, 22, betul? 32, below 25. Okey. Beza kita lain. Saya dinosaur, tuan-tuan macam... Okey, baik. Saya bagi satu contoh. Ada sepupu sama umur, kawan sama umur, jiran sama umur, pernah kena compare? Jawapan pernah itu penuh dengan tidak puas hati. Baik. Tak kisah, saya tak nak tanya siapa compare. It's just that kita akan di-compare dengan orang lain. Jadilah macam ni. Jadilah doktor. Kerjalah government ada pencen. Senang loan. Kerjalah syarikat Petronas. Besar, bagus. Contoh. Cuma saya nak bagi tahu tuan-tuan cik puan, satu perkara, kalau anda berada hari ini, belajar dalam kursus yang belajar hari ini, datang kerja di sini sebab mak ayah paksa ataupun kawan-kawan paksa, saya mohon satu perkara, hidup anda adalah hidup anda, jangan compare dengan orang lain, hidup anda adalah hidup anda decide, hidup anda adalah hidup anda. Tidak ada orang lebih tahu tentang hidup anda kecuali diri anda sendiri. Even your parents tak tahu apa yang terbaik untuk anda sebab anda tahu mindset anda tahu minat anda tahu kekuatan anda tahu kelemahan anda tahu kecenderungan anda. Just be honest with yourself. Itu sahaja. Contoh, siapa di sini dengan izin 50-an? Ada 50-an di sini? Okey, tuan-tuan cik puan yang 50-an, masihkah kau ingat? Ada dulu satu kerja dekat hotel dalam lift. Lift tu ada orang berdiri, dia tekan. Nak naik tingkat berapa cik? Tingkat 5, tekan. Buka. Keluar, masuk. Nak pergi tingkat berapa cik? Tingkat 3. Masihkah kau ingat? Siapa umur 50-an akan jumpa benda tu? Tuan-tuan akan terkejut. Ada yang kerja macam tu? Ya, ada. Sekarang tuan-tuan apa jadi? Ada ke orang jaga lift? Tak ada. Lift tekan sahaja ataupun voice activation. Pertama. Kedua, siapa 40-an? May I see hands? 40-an? Tak ada. Semua generasi muda semua. Anda akan jumpa pengayuh beca. Right. Anda akan jumpa orang yang jual stamp dekat pos laju. Post office, sorry. Kerja dia, jual stamp, tampal, chop. Itu je. Sekarang ada. Dulu ada pekerjaan nama juru rengkas. Juru trengkas ke? Begitulah lebih kurang. Sekarang ada? Tak ada. Yang kerja type, tap, kerting, tap. Sekarang tak ada. 30-an ada ke 30-an? Dengan izin? 30-an? Oh, okey. Tuan-tuan cik puan masih ingatkah dekat tol ada orang ambil duit kita? Sekarang ada lagi kah? Dalam 10 lorong tol, satu saja hujung sekali. Just in case top up tak cukup. Yang lain, automatic RFID. 20-an. 20-an. I see 20-an. Majoriti 20-an. Zaman anda, tuan-tuan, anda mungkin dengar perkataan baru. Kerja zaman dulu tak ada. Contoh, social media marketer. Contoh, copywriter. Contoh, digital marketer. Contoh, cyber security. Contoh, network engineer. Contoh, UI UX design. Pernah dengar sebelum ni? Tak, benda ni semua baru. Kalau dulu orang kata, join lah oil and gas. Gaji yang syuk, fresh grade. 4,500 Halliburton share. Contoh. Tuan-tuan, saya berani sebut satu jawatan baru lagi masuk daripada oil and gas. Cyber security ataupun keselamatan digital. Cyber punya security. Fresh grade 6K. Saya pernah jumpa March 2021 dekat satu career fair. Dunia berubah, plan berubah, kerja berubah, dulu hilang, timbul baru. Tidak ada orang lebih tahu kecuali anda. Ini dunia tuan-tuan dan cik puan. Oleh itu, parent dia nak apa? Parent nak yang terbaik untuk kita. That's all. Boleh tak? Jangan bergaduh dengan parent. You need to educate them. That's all. Mak, saya nak jadi influencer. Mampu. Influencer, saya tolong, minta tolong. Influencer daripada 1,000 orang, seorang 2 je menjadi. Kalau anda ambil kursus degree menjadi influencer macam dekat China, ada degree nak jadi influencer, belajar 2 tahun. Setiap hari, modul kelas dia apa? Bukan belajar slide. Buka ring light, letak kamera, cakap live. Itu degree untuk influencer. Malaysia tak ada lagi. Kat China dah ada. Kalau anda ambil degree tu, jalan lah. But for Malaysia, do it as part-time atau side income sahaja. Okay. Sebab ramai sangat bila saya pergi ke universiti nak jadi influencer, jadi gamer dan sebagainya. Think wisely. Okay. Dan ini saya nak bagi contoh ringkas sahaja. Saya nak bagi tahu kenapa penting destinasi ataupun kenapa kita perlu decide apa yang anda nak. Sebab ramai orang compare in term of income dan sebagainya. Tidak, anda define. Contoh. Yang dengar di FB pun tolong beri perhatian. Kita daripada Semenanjung, hari ini berada kat Kuala Lumpur nak pergi Sarawak. Boleh nak pergi Sarawak. Saya bagi anda option kenderaan. Ada dua. Yang pertama adalah Ferrari. Siapa tak kenal Ferrari? SF90 ke? Tak kisahlah, boleh pergi dalam 150 dalam masa 10 saat. 150 km/h dalam masa 10 saat. Laju. Kalau anda, dengan izin tuan, nama apa? Adi. ADID. Adit. Katakanlah tuan Adit, balik kampung dekat Negeri Sembilan, balik Negeri Sembilan, masuk Highway Plus, bawa Ferrari. Myvi tak boleh cucuk, tuan-tuan. Tinggal jauh belakang. Orang bawa kereta kena, my Ferrari. Orang buka line, betul tak? Tak payah high beam, daripada jauh engine. Betul tak? Ferrari. Semua orang kenal Ferrari dan semua, Ferrari. That is Ferrari, kenderaan pertama saya offer kepada anda. Balik kampung, mak tengok, lama anak aku bawa Ferrari. Jiran keluar, bunyi kereta apa lama jiran sebelah Ferrari. Betul. Popular, tersohor, gah, orang kenal, semua orang pandang. It's a big brand, big name, big car. Right, saya bagi option kedua adalah ferry. Dalam dewan ni, saya cabar seorang bagi tahu saya satu jenama ferry kat Malaysia. Nak habak mai, tak ada orang kenal pun jenama ferry, ianya tidak popular. Hari ini, tuan-tuan, kalau kita daripada Semenanjung KL nak pergi ke Sarawak, saya bagi anda dua option ni, Ferrari ke, yang popular, gah orang kenal, dengan ferry yang orang tak ada kenal langsung, tak popular, tak ada kebanggaan pun naik ferry balik kampung. Negeri Sembilan mungkin. Alright. Soalan saya tanya, daripada Semenanjung ke Sarawak, anda naik kenderaan yang mana? Ferrari atau ferry? Ferrari atau ferry? Ferrari huruf 1, ferry huruf 2. Sila angkat tangan, Ferrari atau ferry? Sedar tak? Anda pilih benda yang tak popular. Anda pilih benda tak popular, betul ni? Nanti mak kata, company apa tu, kecilnya, tak pernah dengar pun. Ini contoh yang berlaku bila anda pilih kerja, nak capai destinasi ataupun tak capai destinasi. Naik Ferrari, boleh pergi, tapi jadi kapal selam lah. Tak sampai destinasi. Walaupun dia gah, target aku adalah nak kerja, work-life balance, aku boleh contribute pada family, aku suka masuk community, aku ada join NGO. Kalau itulah tujuan anda, kenapa nak join company besar yang tak ada life, contoh kena kerja sampai Sabtu, ataupun dia paksa anda kerja ikut klien dia, ikut US, kena kerja 12 hari sampai 12 malam. Gah, gaji besar, hebat, balik kampung orang bangga, tapi destinasi anda tak capai. What for? Back to topic, jangan compare life anda. Anda, tuan nak benda lain, tuan nak benda lain, adik mungkin nak bahagiakan parent, tuan mungkin nak kahwin, tuan mungkin nak stabil dulu, puan mungkin nak travel. Lain-lain. Adakah saya telah sampai ke message dia? Dah sampai ke message? Sampai. Alright. Terima kasih bagi mereka yang respon. Baik, saya teruskan. Kita ada masa yang terhad. Now, mari saya buat ujian sikit. A atau B. Anda pilih saja. Ada yang kat depan, kalau dalam online, anda boleh respon A atau B dekat komen. Kalau yang di depan saya, tuan-tuan, anda boleh respon begini ataupun begini. Dua pilihan saja. Boleh ya? Ini emphasization yang terakhir. Okey, antara dua ni, yang mana anda pilih? Cik puan kita. Saya tahu ayam spicy prosperity baru keluar. Alright. Ada yang ni. Okey, baik. Baik, di belakang sana. Dekat booth pun nak respon, boleh saya nampak anda? Alright. Okey, terima kasih untuk respon. Respon yang kedua, soalan yang kedua. Yang ini. Orang kata kalau nak pergi meminang, bawa H baru senang. Alright. Baik, soalan saya. Terima kasih bagi mereka yang respon. Adakah salah anda pilih Honda? Adakah Honda pilihan yang betul? There is no right or wrong, right? Personal preferences. Tuan, saya tak nak dulu. Saya nak Proton. Jenama nasional, tuan. Can I say that wrong? Tak boleh. Itu live anda decide. Saya bawa analogi ringkas supaya tuan-tuan cik puan boleh faham. Di audien dekat online pun, hopefully this message successfully delivered. Itu je. Benda ni tuan-tuan selesai, insyaAllah selesai banyak benda. Baik. Strategi yang seterusnya adalah set disiplin. Ini perkara mudah saja tuan-tuan. Bagi mereka yang buru kerja, jangan bangun pukul 10 pagi. Bagi mereka yang buru kerja, urus hidup anda, job hunting dengan tersusun. Buat Excel, keep track. Kenapa? Bagi mereka yang buru kerja, kalau lepas pergi interview, hantar thank you note, buat business card, pakai properly. Set a discipline. Kenapa? Sebab sikap anda, the way you do anything is the way you do everything. Anda dekat rumah bangun pukul 10. Anda dekat rumah bilik berterabur. Agak-agak buat kerja tersusun ke? Anda kerja, buru kerja, 20, 30, 40, 100 kerja. Tak dapat keep track kerja. Anda rasa anda buat kerja nanti diterima kerja anda tersusun ke? Anda tulis resume, cacat merbak, ada typo, ada grammatical error, spacing tak cantik, margin tak kena. Anda rasa anda buat dokumen kerja nanti kemas ke? The way you do anything is the way you do everything. Boleh? So set up disiplin, bina habit yang bagus. Tuan-tuan, saya pergi pantas saja yang ini, iaitu kalau anda nak bina habit yang bagus, tuan, saya memang tuan sebut bangun pukul 10 terasa. Okey, begini. Baiki 1% sehari. That's all. After 1 year, you are 38% much better from the first day of the year. Ini kita panggil sebagai atomic habit. Tuan-tuan, cik puan, nak jadi apa? Nak bina 6-pack. Tuan-tuan nak bina 6-pack. Saya dalam proses membina 1-pack sahaja. Nak bina 6-pack tuan, 1% a day. Satu hari belajar pasal diet, belajar pasal senaman, buat senaman, 1% a day. Berapa banyak 1%? 15 minit every day. Setiap hari konsisten, 365 hari, hujung tahun anda 38 kali ganda lebih baik. Konsisten, buat benda baik, improve skill, anda akan jadi lebih baik. Itu 1%, kalau bayangkan kalau 2%, 3%, 4% a day. Right, now, saya pergi secara pantas. Persiapan nombor 3, tuan-tuan cik puan, adalah kena buat resume. Siapa first year buat resume, siapa second year buat resume. Kenapa saya minta buat resume? Kalau final year lagi-lagilah. Begini tuan-tuan cik puan. Cara pilih dekat universiti ataupun kos diploma college, caranya adalah bukan pilih kos. Cik, saya nak ambil kos mana ni? Boleh bimbing saya? Tak, jawapan dia bukan itu. Soalan pertama adalah, tuan cik puan nak kerja apa? Baru pilih kos. Itu cara yang betul. Begin with the end in mind, hujung, and the reverse. Alright? Sama juga untuk situasi ini, tuan-tuan. Begin with end. Buat dulu resume. First year, banyak kosong. Anda tahu nak top up dekat mana. Second year, first year AJK. Second year AJK. Third year AJK. Anda rasa resume anda power ke? Kalau AJK je. Final year, aku dah final year. Tengok resume sebelum ni, AJK. Dah sampai masa jadi HOD. Dah sampai masa jadi project manager. Dah sampai masa jadi high committee. Kenapa? You can see growth ataupun development. Sebab itu penting. Walaupun anda first year, second year, third year, buat resume setahun sekali, update. At least. So that you can see your growth. Itu saja. Kedua, kenapa kena buat resume walaupun anda bukan final year ataupun bukan penjadi kerja? Adalah sebab anda tengok event aku join adalah pidato, communicate, pidato, debate, present paper, sponsorship, semua ke arah communication. Kerja yang anak ada apa? Kerja aku adalah sebagai accountant dalam bidang accounting, finance, fintech. Adakah memerlukan communication presentation yang bagus? Adakah ia critical skill? Tidak. Apakah critical skill dia? Adalah detail oriented. Dalam pelibatan anda, ada tak penglibatan yang mengajar kepada detail oriented? That's how you plan your life during university ataupun college. Sebab itu buat resume. Supaya anda boleh plan event apa nak join. Now, yang keempat tuan-tuan cik puan, ini contoh sahaja, ini contoh resume. Alright. Yang keempat, buat market research. Apakah itu market research? Kaji company. Mana sumber dia? Saya nyatakan di depan. Baca website, Google. Bagi mereka pemburu kerja, kalau anda datang nak interview hari ini, saya mohon. Sambil-sambil tunggu, Google pasal company ataupun agensi kerajaan. Kalau interview dengan SPA, confirm dia akan tanya pasal negara. Jatah negara, bendera, pasal legislatif punya body, apa beza sekian-sekian tentang isu semasa. Confirm sebab itu tentang syarikat. Kalau anda masuk syarikat, dia akan tanya pasal apa? Apa produk kami, apa servis kami, apa kelebihan, apa cadangan. Dia akan tanya. So better you make a research first. Kedua, market. Kita nak tahu market apa sedang naik, market apa yang sedang surviving. Contoh tuan-tuan, waktu COVID 2 tahun, industri apa yang tak sakit? Buat untung. Untung dia dulu 500 juta. Lepas tu dia rugi. Untung 490 juta. Itu je rugi dia. Apakah industri tersebut tuan-tuan je puan? Ataupun kerja ni takkan hilang. Kita panggil sebagai traditional industry. Ada 3. Pertama, kewangan. Dengan izin orang kewangan, bidang kewangan, saya mohon izin dedahkan rahsia ni. Orang di bidang kewangan tuan-tuan, saya tak nak sebut agensi mana, syarikat mana, kita bercakap tentang hilang kerja. Gaji kena potong. Separuh unpaid leave. Mereka tak sembang benda tu. Mereka sembang apa? Oh, tahun ni tak ada bonus lah kalau bagi moratorium. Nampak tak? Dia bukan sembang pasal gaji, dia sembang pasal bonus. Masyuk mat. Right. Lain adalah law, perundangan dan juga kesihatan, pharmaceutical. Itu sentiasa evergreen dan kalau anda perasan, harga barang naik, betul tuan-tuan Cipan? Kobis berapa sekarang sekilo? Yang membeli ketua keluarga ada, sayur berapa sekarang? Tuan-tuan lebih tahu. Tuan-tuan, inflasi kan, harga barang makin mahal. Nilai duit makin rendah, inflasi kan, ikut Bank Negara 2.9% tahun ni. Dan tahun depan, tahun ni ke tahun depan, 2.9%. Untuk makluman anda, industri perubatan, inflasi dia 20%, 12%, 18%. Jauh lagi tinggi. Kos perubatan melambung naik. Jauh lebih mahal daripada kos makanan dan barang-barang harian. So, industri tu, masuk. Saya sebut 3. Okay? Right. If you want to play safe, pergilah industri tu. Baik. Yang kelima, tuan-tuan Cik Puan, saya bagi secara pantas, kalau sesiapa nak memburu kerja daripada KRI, kalau ada agensi KRI di sini, saya tak pernah jumpa lagi wakil KRI. Khazanah Research Institute, kajian dia SWTS, School Work Transition 2018, ada 500 pages, boleh download dekat website, tengok short slide pun boleh 30. Dia buat kajian dah, selesai dah kajian tersebut. Dia bagi tahu ada beberapa platform utama yang majikan cari pekerja. Nombor 1 adalah online advertisement. Oleh itu, pastikan anda ada online profile yang akan disentuh oleh kawan saya yang hebat, Otai Linky nanti, Muihan. Online nak jaga macam mana? Kena, sebab itu platform utama. Berapa banyak nak kena ada? Sekurang-kurangnya tuan-tuan, ada 5 cadangan saya. Nombor 1 yang kena ada adalah My Future Job. My Future Job, say hi. Tu dia. Pergi tanya macam mana. Ada bantuan, ada portal, daftar. Profil mesti lengkap. Itu portal pertama, siapa yang buru kerja. Yang kedua, saya akan suggest anda kepada LinkedIn. LinkedIn ada? Tak ada. Muihan akan sentuh LinkedIn lepas ni. Dengar betul-betul, itu Sifu, practitioner. Alright? Yang ketiga adalah Job Street. Ia adalah portal pekerjaan nombor 1 dekat Malaysia, based on user dan juga jumlah kerja yang ada dan dia punya transaction berlaku. Traffic dia. Still number 1. Nombor 3 adalah, saya akan recommend anda, Grad Malaysia, sebab dia menawarkan kerja-kerja untuk fresh grad. So you be competing among fresh grad sahaja. Senang sikit. Ini untuk fresh grad lah. Kalau senior, dia ada sikit je dekat situ. So fresh grad, better go for Grad Malaysia. Nombor 4, silakanlah pergi mana-mana. Saya akan recommend satu lagi adalah HPC. Di bawah HRD Corp. HRD Corp, say hi. Ya, tu dia. Di sana. Oh, booth besar 2 biji. Alright. So pergi visit, tanya di bawah HRD Corp, terlalu banyak inisiatif yang ada. Terlalu banyak. HPC is one of it. Okay, now. Tuan-tuan, nombor 6, secara pantas, bila saya buat video tuan-tuan dekat YouTube, dekat IG, dekat Facebook, tak pernah ada video yang terlepas komen ini. Komen itu namanya adalah, bang, sembang kari bang. Yang penting kabel, cekang punya, boleh dapat kerja. Betul tak? Siapa setuju? Siapa setuju nak kerja kena ada kabel? Tak wani. Okay. Mari saya reframe ayat kabel. Saya nak elakkan konotasi negatif. Saya tukar, kabel tuan-tuan, dalam dunia pekerjaan, ya, ada. Cuma saya nak rebrand nama dia, kita panggil sebagai professional network. Macam mana? Dia bergerak berdasarkan recommendation. Contoh, anda aktif, MPP, Vice Chancellor Award, Dean List. Anda punya advisor MPP, tengok anda bekerja, handle event, leadership, bagus. Dia suka, ini kalau aku boleh bagi anugerah, aku bagi kat dia ni. Ini kalau boleh menantu, aku ambil menantu. Contoh. Dia boleh verify anda punya quality, good quality. Sebelum habis belajar, minta dengan lecturer ataupun advisor tersebut, Doktor, Prof, Tuan, saya nak cari kerja. Boleh dapat recommendation letter ataupun support letter. Hantar kepada majikan, bila dia hantar resume anda. Apply sekali, resume, hantar sekali dengan support letter tersebut, walaupun tidak diminta. That's what we call support letter. Tengok, dia seolah-olah, bahasa mudahnya macam inilah, testimoni kepada kehebatan kita. HOD approve, professor approve, orang HR approve. Contoh, kalau anda pergi intern, anda perform intern, minta dengan ex-supervisor. Boleh minta. Yang penting orang itu adalah professional relationship. Jangan minta dengan mak ayah. That's not how network works. Dia mesti professional relationship. Boleh? Right. Yang kedua, tuan, saya ni tak berapa nak, saya biasa-biasa je. Saya steady. Oleh itu, macam mana nak bina network yang baru? Boleh bina sekarang. Pergi dekat booth, jumpa majikan, that's how you create network. Tak berani jumpa depan-depan. Okey, platform LinkedIn adalah yang terbaik. Lepas ni akan diceritakan. So stay. Right. Ini bahasa mudah, tuan-tuan. Macam ni lah, saya bawa handphone. Saya ada handphone. Handphone ni Huawei. Saya guna 2 tahun. Saya puas hati. Kemudian bila kawan saya tanya, bro, aku nak beli handphone baru lah. Handphone apa elok? Saya akan recommend Huawei, betul? Dan member tu saya kenal dia 2, 3 tahun, 4, 5 tahun, 8, 7 tahun. Agak-agaknya dia percaya saya tak? Confirm percaya. Begitulah yang berlaku dalam kajian KRI. Sumber kedua, ketiga paling bagus ataupun paling banyak mereka terima talent adalah daripada referral and recommendation. Sebab itu dapatkan referral, support letter, recommendation daripada lecturer, bekas majikan, supervisor intern, supervisor FYP, advisor club, minta. Boleh jadi lecturer kita. Doktor, saya sebenarnya minat dalam semiconductor industry. Doktor ada advice tak untuk saya? Use the word advice. Doktor pun faham bagi advice. Oh, saya pun ada kawan dekat Intel. Nanti saya connect you dengan dia. Dia pun hantar email, dia CC kita, CC kawan dia. That's how recommendation works. Majikan, kalau ada majikan di sini, setuju saya cakap? Kita lebih suka yang orang recommend. Sebab biasanya yang recommend, 10 talent kita dapat recommendation, 9 adalah good quality. Compare dengan kita ambil dekat job portal, 10 talent, good quality, 2 atau 3. Probability dia macam tu. So that's why recommendation antara benda yang kita prefer. Baik. Seterusnya adalah ini, saya nak tunjuk bukti sahaja. Add value to yourself, tuan-tuan cik puan, adalah perkara terakhir. Sekarang terlalu banyak peluang untuk anda baiki diri. Too much. Bagi mereka yang cari kerja, tukar bidang, kerja baru, tambah dengan upskilling, reskilling program yang diberikan. Soalan, siapa pernah buat kursus online? Kos online yang percuma? Yang sedang berjalan sana, kalau pernah boleh respon juga. Kita ada banyak, tuan-tuan, kita ada banyak. Contoh, anda nak tambah value yang ni. Mereka cari kerja, tolong join grup Telegram Kisah Siswa oleh Talent Corp. Boleh scan, join sekarang. Dalam ni ada info-info terbaru, program-program terbaru, inisiatif-inisiatif terbaru. Alright, ataupun buka Telegram, cari Kisah Siswa ataupun cari hashtag Kisah Siswa, insyaAllah akan jumpa. Kedua, tuan-tuan, banyak kursus percuma antara diberikan e-latih di bawah HRD Corp, betul? Ya, sekarang ada 400 kos. Tahun depan saya sembang pada minggu lepas, disasarkan 1000 kos. Tu dia bagi double thumb up. Terima kasih. So, pergi tanya, register. Buat sebanyak mungkin. Bidang saya apa? Programming. Ambil Python punya beginner. C++ punya beginner. Ambil. Cara itu akan menambahkan nilai anda. Sebab apa? Sebab tuan, apa beza kos dengan pengalaman kerja? Undeniable, pengalaman kerja lagi baik. Soalan dia, sekarang senang ke dapat pengalaman kerja? Tuan nak intern pun susah. Nak buat part time 3 bulan pun susah dengan bidang yang kena dengan kita. So, free course adalah antara jalan dia. Right. Baik, ini ada banyak option lagi. Tuan-tuan, saya nak tunjuk ni. Harvard menawarkan kursus percuma. Soalan saya, dalam resume tiba-tiba ada perkataan Harvard. Course, English, Professional English Communication, Harvard University. Agak-agak bila orang baca resume nampak power. Silakanlah. Alright. Kita tumpang nama-nama besar ni. Dan course dia confirm certified. Ataupun approve lah. Quality, good quality. Baik. Saya pergi seterusnya, tuan-tuan. Adalah yang terakhir, bukan yang terakhir, yang ke-8 antara yang terakhir dah. Kena latih bercakap. Sebab saya tak boleh nafikan mereka yang pandai bercakap dalam interview, dia dapat perform dengan lebih baik. Sebab dia boleh deliver value yang sangat banyak. Itu saja. So, you need to rehearse, practice, berlatih. Kalau boleh ada skrip. Kalau boleh rehearse ulang 20 kali. Macam tuan-tuan hafal Quran kan, ulang 7 kali, tengok, 7 kali tanpa tengok, 7 kali tasmid depan orang. Kalau boleh skrip ni ulang banyak kali macam itulah. Okey. Selesai. Dan yang ke-9, tuan-tuan, adalah get properly dressed. First impression sangat penting. Siapa hari ini datang untuk cari kerja, jawatannya eksekutif dan ke atas, iaitu ada degree, tolong wajibkan diri anda pakai macam ni. Full formal. Sengaja aku pakai baju yang sama. Baik. Full formal kalau jawatan eksekutif, tak ada kompromi. Tuan, interview tu hari Sabtu, peduli apa? Anda jawatan eksekutif pakai full formal. Tuan, dia kata nak jumpa dekat site, saya engineer, peduli apa? Pakai kemeja, pakai suit, walaupun panas, berpeluh, berkicap, layan. Habis tuan, macam overdress je, it's okay. Kalau majikan tanya, kenapa overdress ni? Macam bersungguh sangat. Tak apa tuan, it's just a show of my commitment towards this job. I'm willing to go extra mile for this. Selesai. Baik. Kalau anda nak tengok panduan pakai baju, nama-nama ni saya senaraikan. Cerita James Bond, cerita Kingsman, cerita Harvey Specter, Suits dekat Netflix. Pakaian dia adalah pakaian yang formal. Boleh tengok. Kalau orang perempuan, Kate Middleton untuk 3-piece adalah Tan Sri Zeti Akhtar Aziz adalah model baju kurung yang sangat bagus. Very powerful. Google, anda akan jumpa pakaian baju kurung formal. Google nama-nama ni, anda akan jumpalah. Alright. Saya bagi nama-nama panduan untuk mudah. Okay, now. Yang seterusnya yang terakhir adalah bila terima offer kerja, tuan-tuan, hati-hati. Ada 2 dokumen yang anda kena hati-hati. Pertama, offer letter, yang kedua kontrak kerja. Kadang-kadang common practice 2 benda ni sama sahaja. Sebelum anda sign, you need to observe, read and understand each word. Sebab terlalu banyak kes yang saya terima sampai saya pun kena panggil lawyer untuk buat perkongsian atau saya kena rujuk lawyer balik. Kena dia yang berurusan dengan mahkamah. Berkaitan dengan IR dan sebagainya lah. Masuk mahkamah, turun naik mahkamah. Isunya adalah apa hak anda? Kena tahu. KWSP wajib bayar. Mencarum sok-sok, kalau 10 staf ke atas mencarum HRD Corp dengan izin. Nama baru. So benda tu anda kena tahu. Apa KPI anda, apa jawatan anda, berapa AL anda, berapa gaji anda, berapa allowance anda. Kena tahu berapa notice period. Ini ramai sangat nak berhenti. Notice period 2 bulan, 3 bulan, 2 minggu, 3 minggu based on contract. Okay. Kalau anda dengan izin manual labor ataupun gaji 2,000 ke bawah, anda akan merujuk kepada JTK, Akta Buruh. Kalau 2,000 dan ke atas, biasanya akan kepada, dia tak Akta Buruh dah. Dia benda lain. Dengan izin betulkan saya, di bawah bukan JTK lah, biasa kita rujuk JTK. Tapi ini kita rujuk kepada Jabatan, lupa. Di bawah perusahaan industri, macam itulah. Dia berbeza. JTK dengan JTP, yes, berbeza. Alright, so kena faham. Macam mana nak tahu? Google boleh dapat, baca. Ada guideline. Saya bagi ni supaya anda tahu. So that you can find afterwards. Dan hak syarikat pun ada. Bukan hak anda aja sebagai pekerja. Syarikat ada hak dia. Ada agensi ataupun yang menjaga syarikat employer. Nama dia MEF, Malaysian Employer Federation. Hak syarikat anda kena perform. Tunaikan KPI. Anda kena penuhi misi dia. Anda kena adapt dengan culture dia. Anda kena uphold dia punya image. Perkara biasa. So ini 10 perkara, tuan-tuan. Saya pergi secara pantas. Kalau ada soalan boleh tanya, tapi sebagai penutup, tuan-tuan, cari kerja adalah benda yang fun. It's not fun bila kita tak ada duit. Tak, dia tak seronok bila waktu tu, terdesak. Tapi dia fun sebab apa? Anda akan hadap rejection yang sangat banyak. Dengan izin, tuan-tuan, cik puan. Anda setuju tak? Hormat ini 2 hala. Setuju tak? Setuju Kan viral, kata pencari kerja WhatsApp kurang kesopan, kurang nilai adab. Adab kalau 1 hingga 10, nilai dia 2, 3 je. Cara dia WhatsApp mau kerja. Menyebabkan majikan ni tak berminat. Betul tak? Itu adalah kelemahan pemburu kerja. Baiki. Kedua, kalau ada majikan di sini, saya mohon juga saya sebut atas pentas. Ini peluang jarang-jarang aku dapat. Kalau orang minta kerja dengan anda, it's an honor. They are interested with our company. Please show them respect. Respon pada mereka. Walaupun automatic generated, respon lah. Walaupun mereka fail, respon je lah. Mereka tak berjaya. Itu saja. Kan pencari kerja ramai kan? Kita menunggu. Nanti kami maklum keputusan dia. Berjanggut anak 2, tak maklum lagi. Contoh. So, oleh itu, indikator mudah, tuan-tuan, saya nak kongsikan di sini. Biasanya proses berlaku dalam 1 minggu. Anda pergi interview, result berlaku dalam 1 minggu. Tengok dia punya pool of talent. Kalau banyak, seminggu selesai. Kalau lama, 2 minggu selesai. Tapi kalau SPA, tuan-tuan, dia punya pool berapa banyak? Daripada berita harian, 20-20. Orang SPA kongsi, sebanyak 2.4 hingga 2.6 juta permohonan pada SPA. Berapa banyak diterima setahun? Itu setahun Berapa banyak yang SPA 9 terima? Portal SPA 9 anda guna tu. Dia terima 40 hingga 60 ribu sahaja. Agak-agak berapa kena reject? 2.4 juta orang kena reject. Sebab itu proses dia lama sampai 2 bulan, 3 bulan. So it depends on their pool of talent besar mana. Makin banyak kena tapis, makin lama masa kena guna. So, let's do it properly. Pemburu kerja buat dengan baik. Yang memberi kerja, mari kita sama-sama praktiskan perkara yang baik. Human resource, let us put human into the context. Right, baik. Tuan dan Cepan, sebagai penutup, boleh saya tanya feedback ataupun kita buat revision sedikit. Yang pertama, tuan-tuan, apa benda? Decide apa anda nak. Anda nak kerja apa? Jangan compare. Alright, bak kata Megan Trainor, if I were you, I wanna be me too. Buat-buat tak tahu pula. Nyampah tu. Okay, hang gelak, hang tahu. Baik, selesai. Megan Trainor kata, if I were you, I wanna be me too. Jawapan saya, Megan Trainor, I have to disagree. If I were you, just be yourself. Tuan, dalam interview saya kena berlakon ke, jadi munafik ke, jadi fake ke? Tak. Dalam interview bukan jadi orang lain. Dalam interview jadi apa? Jadi a better version of yourself. Jadi the best version of yourself. Tonjolkan diri, sudut diri yang terbaik. That's how you do it. Okay? Dia bukan soal jadi orang lain. Yang kedua, tuan-tuan, apa?
0631.
Saya tak ada disiplin, terima kasih. Yang ketiga. Ada orang catat? Ya, update your resume. Nice, terima kasih. Yang keempat. Sorry, come again. Market research. Number 5. Job portal, apply online. Yang keenam. References, bina networking. Yang ketujuh. E-learning, add value to yourself. Yang ke-8. Professional appearance. Yang ke-9. Practice your communication. Yang ke-10 adalah know your rights. Tuan, saya suka tuan sebab catat. Minta dengan tim saya satu buku. Buku ni adalah pasport sukses temuduga. Baru saya tulis November 2021. Boleh dapatkan. Harga dia 38. Kami self-publish je. Nanti minta dengan tim saya claim. Tuan yang pakai mask, lelaki, jejaka, tampan. Angkat tangan tuan. Alright, itu dia. Boleh? So buku, baik. Buku ni ada A to Z. Daripada nak kenal diri, kekuatan, sampailah tulis resume, template, cover letter, interview, soalan, pakaian, warna, beg, kasut, jenis macam mana. 10 interview, soalan interview paling common, jawapan dengan frame cara jawab, everything lengkap. Kami baru karang, hasilkan. Edisi kemas kini 2021. Kalau nak, boleh dapat dengan tim saya lah. But for tuan, terima kasih untuk respon yang sangat bagus. Nanti claim. So, terima kasih. Yang terakhir, tuan-tuan, saya mau tanya feedback lah dengan izin. Feedback iaitu, boleh bagi angkat tangan. Dekat online boleh tinggalkan komen. Yang tuan-tuan dekat depan saya, based on what you have listened to me, adakah benda itu membantu? Boleh saya dapat respon? Jangan ambil hati. Jujur, aku okey. Alright, terima kasih. Terima kasih. Terima kasih. Any feedback datang pada saya, bagi tahu. Bang, abang bosan hari ni. Buat macam ni, bang. Bang, point abang ni heavy sangat lah. Buat macam ni, bang. Alright, boleh? Okay, so that's all from me, tuan-tuan Cik Pan. Sebagai penutup yang terakhir, saya kira nak ada soalan.
0602.
Dia tak ada mic. Okay. So, yang terakhir, tuan-tuan.
0586.
Saya background engineering. Sekarang saya jadi engineer ke? So, apa yang anda buat sekarang, tak define apa yang anda akan jadi. Tuan, saya ada plan 5 tahun saya nak jadi doktor. Contoh. Apakah akan tercapai? Belum tentu. Things change. It's okay. Tapi benda yang paling asas, tuan-tuan, adalah tambah kualiti diri. Plan berubah, tak ada masalah. Yang penting diri anda juga berubah. Because, ingat benda ni, key point for a better future, for your better future is you. Kalau anda berubah, benda akan jadi lebih baik. Itu je. Contoh, siapa yang hilang kerja, mungkin skill kita sudah tidak valid. Sekarang, dulu kita buat marketing macam mana? Marketing pergi mall. Macam mana barang eye level. Pasang muzik macam mana? Bau. Masuk kedai, beg tangan, dia spray perfume supaya bau. Pengaruhi orang. Sekarang tuan-tuan, kalau dulu 1000 orang pergi mall, sekarang 500 orang pergi mall. 500 shopping dekat mana? Online. Skill sudah berubah. Dulu skill kena buat marketing dekat mall, dia nak adjust rak dekat mana, letak chef sebagainya, buat bagi minuman free. Tapi sekarang skill berubah. Kita guna e-commerce. Pop-up warna apa? Nak scroll keluar apa? Kalau klik ni jadi macam mana? Animation dia apa? Nak keluar live dulu ke? Marketing tetap marketing. Tetapi skill itu sudah berubah. Kena update. Kalau anda tak update, akan jadi tak relevan. Macam mana, dengan izin, saya sebut beberapa brand. Nokia jadi tak relevan. Macam mana kodak jadi tak relevan. Okay. Yang sangat bagus, contoh paling power adalah AirAsia, tuan-tuan.
572.
Kan penerbangan sakit, tiba-tiba dia tubuhkan AirAsia Group. Tiba-tiba jadi unicorn dalam tempoh setahun. Jadi startup yang sangat power. Mungkin tuan-tuan tak faham, tapi yang di belakang sana anda tahu. AirAsia berubah dalam masa setahun. Develop sangat laju. So, berubah. Kalau anda nak sihat, anda boleh ubah. Anda nak ubah benda sekeliling, ubah diri sendiri. Benda itu akan automatik berubah. Wallahualam, terima kasih untuk perhatian tuan-tuan Cik Pan. Saya serahkan kepada pengerusi majlis.
Terima kasih saya ucapkan kepada Encik Nick Akmal atas perkongsian yang begitu bermanfaat sebentar tadi. Perkongsian ilmu menjadikan kita semakin berilmu. Boleh tak saya nak tanya sedikit soalan? Boleh ke? Tanya satu-satu ke boleh ke? Boleh tu, saya dengar daripada suara daripada warga Perkeso saja. Tapi tuan-tuan, puan-puan yang sedang duduk ni, boleh ke? Tak boleh ya? Sengaja nak mengejutkan anda daripada tidur. Sebenarnya I'm really very proud dengan penceramah kita sebab kita dapat, bukan semua akan dapat rezeki ini, dan anda di sini pada hari ini mendapat rezeki tersebut untuk kita menimba ilmu pengetahuan yang sangat bermanfaat. So, thank you so much penceramah kita pada hari ini. Kita teruskan lagi dengan sesi dengan Encik Moihan, seorang perunding kerjaya yang dibawakan oleh Talent Corp dengan tajuknya Personal Branding dan Employability. Dengan segala hormatnya dipersilakan.
Selamat pagi semua.
0633.
Bergembira dengan dapat melihat banyak anak muda bersama kami dalam sesi ini, dan saya juga berbesar hati kepada Perkeso dan Talent Corp menjemput saya sebagai penceramah seterusnya. Usually payah jadi penceramah selepas Tuan Nick Amal. Pasal kebolehan dia tak terhingga. Dalam konsert usually the opening act ialah yang artis yang kurang famous. Okay? Lepas artis yang kurang famous bagi persembahan, then artis utama datang. Tapi dalam senario ini berbeza. Tuan Nick Amal ialah artis utama. Saya adalah opening act. Terbalik pasal masa. So sebentar tadi saya duduk di belakang. Dia asyik jual nama saya pun tertakut. Dia cakap, nanti Tuan Moihan akan cakap ni. Nanti Tuan Moihan cakap tu. Kena cakap lah ni. Tak cakap tak boleh. So, good morning to all of you. Saya sangat berbesar hati dapat bersama kamu semua. Pada pagi ini, saya nak ambil sedikit masa berkongsi topik utama saya. Okay? Izinkan saya perbetulkan persepsi sikit. Saya sepatutnya bukan perunding kerjaya. I'm not a career coach. Okay? Saya adalah perunding pengurusan. I'm a management consultant. Kerja saya bekerja bersama majikan-majikan, with employers, dengan organisasi-organisasi untuk melihat struktur mereka, strategi mereka, proses mereka, teknologi dan sistem mereka. Tetapi kenapa saya berkecimpungan dalam arena kebolehpekerjaan, kebolehpasaran, graduan-graduan dan anak muda? Ialah kerana semasa saya berjumpa dengan syarikat-syarikat, kebanyakan mereka memberitahu saya tahap pencapaian tenaga kerja kita, especially daripada orang muda, semakin hari semakin menurun. Semakin hari semakin mencabar untuk mencari orang yang betul-betul layak menjawat jawatan yang di offer di syarikat-syarikat. So, dilema di Malaysia pada pendapat saya ialah ini. Anda tuan-tuan dan puan-puan boleh lihat berapa booth kita ada untuk Karnival ini. Banyak antara organisasi-organisasi kerajaan walaupun swasta mencari talent, mencari pekerja. Tetapi di samping itu, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan pun tahu, bilangan pengangguran antara anak muda pun sangat tinggi. Okay. So untuk sesi ini, pada pagi ini, tujuan utama saya ialah membeli strategi. Okay, strategi, 5 strategi yang
0648.
tuan-tuan dan puan-puan boleh guna sebagai seorang pemburu kerja. Especially kalau tuan-tuan dan puan-puan seorang mahasiswa, seorang yang muda yang baru lepasan graduan universiti, college, politeknik dan sebagainya. Okay? Kerana cara mencari kerja telah berbeza. Okay? Tip-tip yang Tuan Nik Akmal berikan tadi adalah sangat baik. Okay? Anda perlu ingat semua, guna itu setiap hari, setiap bulan, setiap masa. Dan jangan tunggu lagi. Especially kalau anda berada di tahun 1. Tanya, kenapa saya perlu fikir tentang kerjaya dan pencarian kerja? Saya hanya di tahun 1 di universiti. Okay? Kalau tuan-tuan dan puan-puan mempunyai pemikiran sedemikian, okay, itu adalah satu jerat. It's a trap. Okay? Izin saya minta tuan-tuan dan puan-puan tukar pandangan, tukar pemikiran. Okay? Adalah penting. Okay. So, saya akan memberi penekanan utama dengan penggunaan platform LinkedIn. Nak cek antara tuan-tuan dan puan-puan. Antara siapa di sini ada LinkedIn account? Boleh angkat tangan? Boleh angkat tangan? Nah, yang selainnya tak ada. Okey, bagus. Right. So, inilah peluang, okay, untuk anda semua untuk membuat atau menregister, mendaftar diri untuk satu LinkedIn account. So, pokok ceritanya, LinkedIn ialah satu platform media sosial. Seperti platform media sosial lain, macam Facebook, macam IG, macam TikTok, Instagram dan sebagainya. Tetapi platform media sosial ini khas untuk majikan yang mencari tenaga kerja dan khas untuk pemburu kerja yang mencari kerja. Right? So it's actually a platform to connect the two, employer dengan employee. Okay? Tetapi platform tersebut seringkali, okay, dipikirkan adalah satu platform job portal. Faham apa tu job portal, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan? Portal kerja? Portal kerja biasanya meletakkan resume tuan-tuan dan puan-puan di atas sana, menunggu majikan cari kamu because your profile is there, dan juga dia ada buat advertisement, dia buat tawaran kerja, okay, di portal kerja, dan anda boleh mencari apa yang bersesuaian untuk membuat permohonan application. Tetapi LinkedIn, walaupun ada fungsi portal kerja, dia bukan portal kerja sewewang-wewangnya. In fact, LinkedIn itself ialah satu platform yang membolehkan tuan-tuan dan puan-puan berinteraksi dengan orang industri. And itulah hala tuju yang saya ingin terapkan di minda tuan-tuan dan puan-puan. Sebagai anak muda, sebagai pelajar pada hari ini, untuk memastikan kebolehpekerjaan, kebolehpasaran tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, anda tidak lagi hanya mempunyai grade yang bagus, mempunyai aktiviti kurikulum yang bagus, tak cukup. Right? Anda perlu melakukan what we call professional networking seawal mungkin. Okay? Saya lihat di kalangan semua banyak anak muda nak tengok survey sikit. Antara kamu semua, berapakah antara anda semua yang kenal orang korporat, orang industri, lebih daripada 5 orang yang bukan terdiri pada ahli keluarga? Angkat tangan. Faham soalan saya? Anda kenal orang korporat, orang industri, lebih daripada 5 orang yang bukan terdiri pada ahli keluarga? Angkat tangan. Okay, lebih daripada 3 orang? Lebih daripada 1 orang? Tak kenal langsung? Tak kenal langsung? Tak kenal langsung? Tak kenal? Okay. So, tak apa. Jangan khawatir, jangan bimbang. Okay. Mungkin kita tak nampak muka lah, tapi I hope you are Smiling, senyum, jangan murung, jangan murung. Itulah persepsi yang kita ada pada hari ini. Semenjak saya jadi pelajar, saya pun macam tuan-tuan dan puan-puan. Saya pun sendiri, fokus hanya dekat sekolah, fokus saya dekat college, fokus saya dekat universiti. Orang yang saya jumpa pun orang muda, mahasiswa yang lain, mahasiswi yang lain, pelajar yang lain dan sebagainya. Because fokus kita nak jalinkan hubungan persahabatan dengan kawan-kawan sebaya. Pada lepas universiti masuk alam pekerjaan, baru terfikir nak pergi cari connection dengan orang industri, dengan orang korporat. Tetapi saya telah faham selama ini cara ini terlalu lambat. So antara cara yang paling baik untuk tuan-tuan dan puan-puan mencari pekerjaan pada hari ini, I think Tuan Akmal just now say, Tuan Ning Akmal say, bukan saja recommend, tetapi kebolehan tuan-tuan dan puan-puan berinteraksi dengan orang korporat. Sejak sekolah lagi, sejak universiti lagi, sejak college lagi. So untuk membantu tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, satu-satu cadangan yang saya nak utarakan pada pagi ini ialah kegunaan platform LinkedIn. Because melalui LinkedIn, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan boleh menggunakan platform ini untuk berkenalan dengan sesiapa saja. Sesiapa ahli korporat di Malaysia. Supaya dapat menjalinkan satu hubungan yang baik dan dengan hubungan itu membantu tuan-tuan dan puan-puan untuk mendapatkan kerja yang dikehendaki. So sedikit latar belakang. Pada masa ini syarikat saya. So saya bukan perunding kerjaya. Saya memang perunding pengurusan. Dan inilah servis saya. Dan bulan 2017, 4 tahun yang lalu, saya mulai berkecimpungan, masuk universiti, memberi ceramah, memberi nasihat kepada anak muda supaya bridge the employability gap. Because sering kali bila saya jumpa majikan, mereka memberitahu saya banyak masalah yang dihadapi. So, saya telah aktif masuk universiti dan track record saya. Saya telah masuk ke lebih daripada 28 universiti, menjalankan 50 sesi, dan semasa PKP tahun yang lepas, sesi kita bertukar menjadi virtual. So ini antara sedikit universiti yang saya telah melawati sepanjang 4 tahun ini. Apa yang saya pelajari semasa bercakap dengan mahasiswa dan mahasiswi di Malaysia? Nombor 1, kebanyakan pelajar maupun di universiti, di college, di politeknik, hala tuju anda memang kabur. Kebanyakan. Kalau saya buat interview, anak muda, tarik mana-mana, tanya, apa yang anda nak lakukan dalam 3 tahun, 5 tahun yang akan datang? I would say 80% tak boleh bagi jawapan yang kukuh. Betul tak, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan? Kalau saya tanya nanti, kita minta buat soal selidik, tahu tak di mana tuan-tuan dan puan-puan akan berada dalam 5 tahun yang akan datang? Siapa sudah tahu? Angkat tangan. Siapa confident say, I know where I'm going? Muihan, 5 years time. Angkat tangan. Ada tak? Ada. Next 3 years, ada. Next 1 year, ada. Next 1 year pun tak tahu. Tahu tak? Tahun depan di mana? Tak tahu. Tahu tak? Agak-agak tahulah, right? 6 bulan, boleh? 6 bulan? 6 bulan? Tahu di mana? Jangan malu, jangan malu. Bila orang bertanya soalan, anda perlu ambil satu iktibar untuk melatih diri, untuk memberanikan diri menjawab. Kenapa? Kerana dalam alam pekerjaan, mesti kena tanya soalan. Walau dalam job interview ke, dalam platform lain ke, dalam kerja assignment ke, mesti ditanya soalan. So when I ask you a question, bila saya tanya soalan, jangan takut, jangan malu. Saya takkan makan kamu. Walaupun anda berasa kekok, berasa takut, jangan. Okey? Pada masa ini sebagai pelajar, anda semua pelajar, saya harap sebagai pelajar, apa-apa yang anda tak biasa melakukan, anda perlu beranikan diri, lakukan dengan lebih. Kalau tak pernah diminta jawab soalan, tak pernah diminta tanya soalan, itu semua yang perlu anda beranikan diri untuk buat. Okey? So izinkan saya continue. So, yang saya lihat anak muda kebanyakannya, dia punya horizon hanya 3 hingga 6 bulan. Dia dapat lihat yang akan berlaku, apa yang berlaku 3 to 6 months from now. Bila you tanya tahun depan, tak boleh tengok. 3 tahun tak boleh tengok. 5 tahun tak boleh tengok. Tapi 3 bulan boleh. So you tanya siapa-siapa pelajar yang saya jumpa banyak-banyak ni, saya jumpa 12,000 mahasiswa dalam 4 tahun ni. 80% daripada mereka akan memberitahu saya, Tuan, saya sangat-sangat sibuk pada hari ini. Saya sibuk dengan projek, saya sibuk dengan aktiviti, saya sibuk dengan ini dan itu dan sebagainya. Tetapi sibuk, bila mereka keluar universiti, tak dapat kerja pula. Itulah satu dilema dan misteri yang kita nak ungkaikan di negara ini. Yang sangat-sangat penting, kerana kalau semua anak muda tak cukup pekerjaan, mesti negara akan terjejas dari segi ekonomi, sosial dan sebagainya. So, bila saya jumpa anak muda, feedback maklum balas yang utama mereka ialah mereka hanya tahu apa yang akan berlaku 3 hingga 6 bulan. Selanjutnya mereka tak tahu. Kerana mereka tak tahu apa yang akan berlaku dalam 6 bulan ke atas, mereka tak buat apa-apa persediaan ataupun buat apa-apa aktiviti yang membolehkan mereka menghadapi 6 bulan ke atas. So justru itu, if you hear what we are trying to say, apa yang kita nak cakap dari saya, daripada Tuan Nik Amal tadi, kita minta, especially all of you, anak muda Malaysia, supaya lebih jauh, pandangan lebih jauh. Bukan hanya tengok 3-6 bulan. Bukan hanya tengok 12 bulan. Bukan hanya tengok 24 bulan. Kalau boleh tengok 3 hingga 5 tahun ke depan. That's why, tadi bila saya masuk, saya dengar, saya ingat, Tuan Nik cakap, bukan cari kerja. Tengok ada syarikat apa, then you pergi apply. Tapi tanya diri sendiri, apa kerja yang tuan-tuan dan puan-puan nak? What you want to do first? Then you cari ada kesesuaian dengan apa yang tuan-tuan dan puan-puan nak. Bukan tengok apa yang ada, sedia ada. Alright? So with that, kita minta all of you, if kalau belum, sila ambil satu iktibar dari hari ini, ambil satu ketetapan pada hari ini, supaya merancang jangka masa yang lebih terdekat, 3 hingga 5 tahun yang ke depan. Because penting. So, masuk balik topik saya, tersasar pula. So, kenapa LinkedIn dan kenapa penjemahan diri? Why personal branding and why LinkedIn? So, LinkedIn, kalau anda di media sosial, di media internet, menjadi what we call your first impression, digital first impression. Yang ini adalah penting kerana pada hari ini, jikalau saya akan bertemu dengan tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, apakah aktiviti utama saya? Saya akan Google nama tuan-tuan dan puan-puan. Kita lakukan satu aktiviti. Semua ada telefon? Keluarkan. Buka Google page. Kepada mereka yang ada, buka Google page. Boleh tak Google nama tuan-tuan dan puan-puan sekarang? Google, tengok apa keluar. Nama sendiri. Nama anda sendiri. Apa yang keluar?
0636.
Dah ke belum?
0656.
Dah ke belum? Okey, saya nak tanya soalan. Jangan tutup dulu, saya nak tanya soalan. Antara anda semua, jika anda membuat satu carian Google untuk nama tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, antara anda semua, siapa yang dapat muka surat pertama, carian organik 1, 2, 3, nama anda dan itu pun profil anda? Angkat tangan. 2 saja, lain bukan? Bukan, orang lain. Orang lain. Ulang soalan. Semua faham guna Google tak? Tanya dulu. Faham guna tak? Faham kan? Alright. Google nama anda, then tengok carian, search page. Carian pertama, kedua, ketiga pada muka surat pertama. Adakah itu tuan-tuan dan puan-puan atau orang lain? Kalau itu anda, sila angkat tangan. Okey, 1, 2, siapa lagi? Lain bukan semua? Bukan. 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 Okey. Ada cari, tak ada cari. Bukan. Bukan juga. Okey. So, apa? Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan masih muda lagi. Apa yang perlu buat ialah supaya terapkan satu identiti di internet untuk menonjolkan kebolehan tuan-tuan dan puan-puan. Justru itu, bukan saja kita minta anda semua supaya aktif dalam social media, aktif dalam perkara-perkara lain. Tapi kalau boleh, luangkan sedikit masa supaya aktif di satu platform yang boleh membantu anda dalam kebolehpekerjaan, kebolehpasaran. Itu yang penting. Okay? So, kalau anda tidak berada di carian muka surat pertama, nama anda tidak terkeluar, kemungkinan besar tuan-tuan dan puan-puan tidak meluangkan enough masa dan aktiviti untuk menjemakan diri, to brand yourself on the internet. Right? And ini ialah satu penting, satu perkara yang penting kerana pada masa ini, setiap majikan, setiap meeting saya pergi, kalau saya tak pernah jumpa orang tersebut, aktiviti yang paling cepat saya akan buat ialah supaya Google nama orang tu. Cari siapa dia sebelum saya berjumpa dengan dia. So majikan dia pun, dia punya perangai pun macam tu. Kalau kamu memohon pekerjaan, okay, bila dia dapat CV atau resume anda, dan dia suka CV resume anda, aktiviti yang seterusnya ialah mencari anda di internet. Siapakah orang ini? Sebelum mereka membuat panggilan supaya datang interview. Kalau tuan-tuan dan puan-puan boleh ada paparan identiti yang bagus, impression bagus. Okay? Ini akan membolehkan, okay, dari segi sebelum dia membuat panggilan, menjemput untuk temu duga, dia akan membolehkan anda semua, membolehkan dia mempunyai satu tanggapan yang bagus, dan bila datang untuk temu duga, masa itu hanya untuk membuat sedikit perbincangan untuk validate pengalaman tuan-tuan dan puan-puan. So, if you know how to do this, you will have won, I would say you have won the war just on impression on the internet. Okay? Because it is important, itu penting supaya anda menonjolkan diri anda di internet dengan cara yang baik. So, justru itu, saya tahu kemungkinan besar anda semua masih muda lagi, tak pernah guna LinkedIn. Tetapi saya akan mencadangkan supaya anda mendaftar diri untuk satu LinkedIn account. So, bila saya mula mengajar subjek ini, mengajar anak muda menggunakan LinkedIn untuk mencari kerja, saya pun tak faham begitu apa kegunaan LinkedIn. Saya sendiri guna LinkedIn pada 5 tahun yang lalu, saya tak begitu faham. So saya pun buat research, saya pun buat nak tengok bagaimana kita boleh menggunakan platform ini. Dan saya jumpa satu profil anak muda ini, Afiq Murad. Okay. Pada masa saya ternampak profil dia, itu ialah 5 tahun yang lalu, dia hanya seorang pelajar universiti tahun 2. Tetapi sering setiap hari dia akan buat posting sebegini. Ini satu salah daripada contoh, kalau anda dapat lihat. Okay? Setiap kali dia buat posting, dia akan menunjukkan dia bersama dengan bos-bos besar syarikat-syarikat terkenal di Malaysia. Okay? Dia hanya pelajar universiti. So ini satu contoh, dia bersama Associate Director PwC. PwC ialah satu syarikat Big Four, we call it, di Malaysia. Dan ada lagi, dia bersama dengan CHRO, Chief HR Officer, SP Setia. Okay, ini adalah dua contoh yang saya tunjukkan. Ada lagi satu, dia bersama dengan Tuan Azwan Baharudin, ialah Country Managing Director for Essential Malaysia. Essential ialah satu firma perunding antarabangsa. So, what I'm trying to show you here is this. Bagaimana anak muda tahun 2 universiti setiap hari atau setiap bulan dapat berjumpa dengan bos-bos syarikat besar di Malaysia. Bagaimana? Bagaimana? Saya tak terfikir pun, because saya pun dulu pelajar universiti, saya pun aktif. Bila saya nampak paparan ini di LinkedIn, saya pun terfikir, kenapa orang muda ini tiap-tiap hari atau tiap-tiap 2 hari, dia akan buat posting-posting sebegini. Saya tak faham. Saya follow dia 6 bulan, 12 bulan. Dan tiba-tiba dia tukar status dia. Dia tunjuk di mana dia buat internship. Dia buat latihan praktikal. Because satu salah daripada keperluan khusus dia ialah untuk membuat latihan praktikal. Okay? So bila dia tunjuk mana dia buat latihan praktikal, then it all makes sense. Because dia buat latihan praktik di Essential. Essential is a global IT consulting firm. So bila saya nampak ini, saya pun faham, this is the strategy. You use LinkedIn as a platform, okay, to connect with all these bosses that you want to work for. You build relationship with them, and then use that relationship to translate into internship opportunity, to translate into job opportunity. That is how it is done. Itu cara dia. So, saya pun terfikir, strategi ini actually bagus. Okay, bagus untuk anak muda kita. Because, melalui platform ini, anda boleh kontak sesiapa saja. 20-30 tahun yang lalu, semasa saya di universiti, kalau saya nak jumpa bos besar, syarikat besar di Malaysia, saya pun tak tahu macam mana nak approach mereka. I don't know how to approach big corporate bosses in Malaysia if I wanted to. But today, with LinkedIn, you are actually empowered to approach any potential employers that you want. In fact, if you know how to use this platform, you can connect with anyone that you want to work for. Got one caveat though. Ada satu syarat. What is this syarat? Syarat dia ialah untuk berjaya dalam platform LinkedIn, dia tak boleh buat short term. It is what we call a long tail event. You got to start using this platform consistently over a period of time to see the result. So for my friend Afiq, it is really a perfect strategy. As a second year university, he already know how to use this platform to connect to all the potential bosses that he want to work for, and make sure during his university year, when he don't need a job, bila dia tak perlukan pekerjaan, to get to know all these bosses. Okay? So this is the best. You have met any salesman, sesiapa yang menjual apa-apa kepada tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, to sell you anything. We all don't like salesman, right? We all don't like salesman, right? Siapa sini suka salesman? Ada tak? Tak ada kan? So similarly, we also as majikan don't like people to always ask for job. Desperate, right? But if you're given a chance to get to know you on a normal basis, get to talk to you, get to engage you, get to exchange ideas with you over a period of time. When we have a vacancy, you will be top of our mind. That is what personal branding is all about. Okay? So, my good friend here, Afiq, dia sangat berjaya. Because why? Bila dia grad, when he finished his study, not only that he have no problem looking for a job, in fact, the Big Four come and look for him. So dia dijemput untuk interview. Dia pergi interview. Satu salah Big Four. Dia pergi, dia jawab semua soalan. Hari tu juga dia dapat job offer letter. The recruitment manager give him the job offer letter after the interview session. Dia pun keliru sikit. Dia kena, actually I didn't apply for this job. Saya tak ada membuat permohonan untuk jawatan ini. Tapi saya nak kerja ini. Saya nak kerja untuk syarikat ini. Because this is a big company. So dia pun keliru sedikit. Dia pun tanyalah recruitment manager. Sorry, Miss Recruitment Manager, I just want to ask before I sign the offer letter, how did you find me? Kenapa kamu mencari saya untuk interview ini? Why? Or how did you find me? So the answer given by the recruitment manager was this. He said, I don't know what you did 2 years ago, 2 tahun yang lepas, on LinkedIn. But you wrote something that is so meaningful and so powerful that the big partner, the senior partner, come to the recruitment department and say, can you monitor this young man? I want to make sure when he graduate that time, join our company. So that is how powerful this platform can be. So in this sense, kalau tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, if you all know how to use this platform, it is really, really an advantage, which I've been sharing with a lot of students in the last 4 years. Because I find the number of university graduates, college students on this platform is actually very low. Less than 5%, I would say, in Malaysia. Okay? So the benefit is this. If there are no students on this platform, and you are on this platform, you are actually the top 5%. 5% teratas tau. Okay? And that's what my good friend Afiq did lah. Okay? Now, let me just quickly move on. So with that, I want to share his 5 strategy. Actually, it's not his 5 strategy. This is what the 5 things he did. But I observed these 5 things to be very useful that all of you can use, including experienced hire. I think got more experienced hire joining our session now. You can actually use this strategy to help you to boost your employability. So what are they? First is to make sure you have what we call a professional looking LinkedIn profile. Okay? So if you are on LinkedIn, what does it mean to have a professional LinkedIn account? A profile. This is my LinkedIn profile. You will notice that LinkedIn will require you to fill up a lot of segments, a lot of areas. And if you fill up all these segments, LinkedIn will give you a status called All-Star. Okay? So apa beza All-Star dengan tak ada All-Star? Right? Senang saja. If you have an All-Star status, you will be given more prominence and more visibility on LinkedIn compared to no All-Star status. So for that purpose, please fill up every segment in LinkedIn. Once you complete that, you will get your All-Star status. But in all the segments, I just want you to focus on these 6 areas. These are the 6 areas that will help you to become your profile to look professional. So what are the 6? Number 1 is the profile photo. So the profile photo is the one in the bulatan, in the circle. Okay? A lot of people make mistake in this. They think that, ini profile social media. So could be sewerang-werang dia, can be anything. But in this context, actually it's very, very important for you to make sure that your photo looks professional. So how to make sure that your professional photo, how to make sure that your photo look professional? Got 5 criteria, ada 5 criteria. Pertama, tentukan gambar tersebut adalah gambar anda. Apa bodohnya cakap ni? What stupid advice are you giving me? Wihan? No. Jokes aside, many people, they will put a different photo in their profile photo. for social media platform. You can do that on other platform, but not on LinkedIn. LinkedIn, we will ask you to put your latest photo. Okay, that is the first criteria. Second criteria is actually on the banner. So the banner is the one behind the photo. Behind the photo is the banner. Why it's important to have the banner is because the banner will be actually the one that will dominate the entire page. So if I come to your page, 30-40% of the page is the banner, right? So if you do not change the banner looks like something like a grey, coloring is grey color, they're down sikit. But if you do want to change the banner, we will encourage you to design a banner that looks like an advertisement board, a papan tanda for yourself. So if you look at this, I purposely designed something to advertise my capabilities. Why? Because when you come to my page, this is the first thing that you see that will be very, very visible and big. Yang besar, boleh nampak. Okay? So, please do change this. First, your profile photo. Second is your banner. Profile photo, first, make sure that it's you. Second criteria, 60% of the frame ialah muka anda. Yes, kerana kebanyakan daripada majikan, bila dia tengok profile anda, dia gunakan mobile phone dia. So if your face is not 60% of the frame, cannot see your face, tak nampak langsung. Okay? So that is important. Number 3, make sure that you got right expression. Kena senyum. Ini yang payah ni. Not easy to senyum di untuk gambar, right? Not only just senyum, tapi senyum di mata. Especially if you need to wear mask, senyum di mata. So that is important. So make sure it's you. 60% of the frame is your face. Make sure you have the right expression. Please smile. Yang keempat, apa yang anda pakai, baju, what do you wear in this particular area? Make it professional. What you will wear to work is what is the needed in this photo. And last criteria is your background need to be simple and plain. Make sure you got contrast between your photo and the background photo. Okay? So there are 2 things. First is your profile photo. Next is your banner. Third criteria is headline. Now, headline, as it suggests, a lot of times people say that headline is to grab your attention. I see the headline, I see your profile. But in LinkedIn headline, they got dua fungsi. They got 2 functionality. First is to grab your attention, but that is only 20% of the functionality. 80% of the functionality, if you know search engine optimization, keyword search, right? Whatever words you put on this headline, it will be the first words to be searched in LinkedIn. So you got to start thinking, what are employers, what are recruiters searching for on LinkedIn? So if you do have a particular skill set that you want to exhibit, you want to enhance it, you have to make sure that this keyword is in the headline. So for that, I'm going to give you my formula, 3-step formula. Very easy, if you can take down. I don't have it on my slide. First one is to make sure that the area of discipline of your qualification is in the headline. Let's say you have a chemical engineering degree, right? Make sure the word chemical engineering is in your headline. Just the word, not your university, not your full degree name. Make sure the word is there, chemical engineering. That's part 1 of formula for headline. Part 2 of formula for headline is whatever job that you want to do, whatever industry that you want to be in, make sure that word is in the headline. For instance, as a chemical engineer, you can be in oil and gas. Make sure oil and gas is in the headline. As chemical engineer, you can be in petrochemical manufacturing. Make sure petrochemical is in the headline. As a chemical engineer, you can join the food industry. Make sure food industry or F&B is in the headline. As a chemical engineer, you can be in plastic manufacturing. If you want to be plastic industry, make sure the word plastic is in the headline. Type of jobs. As a chemical engineering graduate, you can be a design engineer. Put the word design engineer in the headline. As a graduate of chemical engineering, you can be a process engineer. Put the word process engineer in the headline. And you understand what I'm trying to get at. So whichever job that you want, whatever industry that you want to be in, make sure that keyword is in your headline. Some people ask me, Muihan, I'm still a pelajar. Saya masih pelajar. I put oil and gas, takkan orang nanti tanya, kenapa you letak oil and gas? You belum dalam oil. Yes. Later you will explain in your summary that you aspire to work in the oil and gas industry. So it's important for you to put the word oil and gas there. Because why? Recruiters will find based on keyword. And the keyword match will come out in the search result. So that is important. Number 3, petua ketiga untuk headline. So first one is the discipline that you study. Second one is the job and industry that you want to work for. Number 3 is what we call uniquely you. Okay? Uniquely you got 3 parts. First part is your achievement. So anything that you have won, anything you have achieved in the past, jangan malu-malu. Letak saja dalam headline. Now, this one is not something that they will search for, but at least when they search for the keywords, they see your profile, this will grab their attention. So that is the first one, achievement. Second point for rule 3 is what we call jargon that only your industry know. So I come from the food industry. So jargon in the food industry are things like HACCP, ISO 20000, GMP. Only food industry people understand. If you are in the financial sector or finance industry, you can put things like CA, GAAP, okay? Things that finance people understand. If you are in engineering, you want to impress upon the kind of software you know how to use. Put lah MATLAB, put lah SolidWorks, put lah AutoCAD. These are the things that your industry is looking for. So whatever your industry is looking for, those keywords need to be in your headline. Okay? That is the second one. Third one, uniquely you, is any other qualities that you want to shout about. Your leadership capability, teamwork, collaboration, and things like that. But whatever keyword that you put in your headline, make sure you justify it later in the next segment called About Me. Right? So that is for headline. Number 4 is About section. So About section in LinkedIn, they used to call it summary. And then they realized everybody put dua barisan saja because summary mah. So they changed it, they call it About section. So for About section now, got total 2,000 character. You can write 2,000 character. And my professional advice to all of you is, write until cannot write. Tulis sampai tak boleh tulis. Until you finish all the character count. Because why? The more information you put into your LinkedIn profile, the more you are exposing it to other people to search for it. And you may be able to find employers that are probably looking for very specific things. So if you are able to show different types of facets of you, the different sides of you, that you will attract different employers to come. Okay? That is number 4. So in About section, I will usually say, write 4 paragraphs. 3 to 4 paragraphs. 1 paragraph on, let's say you're already experienced, write 1 paragraph on the best project that you did in the last 3 to 5 years. You are still in university, write about your final year project. Number 2, write about a social project or a hobby that you do. Okay? Something that you're very passionate about. So in my case, I like to train young graduates. I dedicate a full paragraph on training young graduates. Young graduates is not my business, it's not my career. But because I'm able to demonstrate this, I attract a lot of partnership. I attract a lot of collaboration. Right? So similarly for you, if you can spend time writing 1 full paragraph about things that you're passionate about, you're able to attract like-minded people to connect with you. Okay? So that is very important. Also do maybe 1 paragraph on the specific technical skill sets that you have. Right? And you have mentioned anything in your headline that needs explanation. This is where that you put it into it. And if you are actively looking for a job or actively looking for internship, your last sentence is what we call to action. That is where you need to put to say that you are now currently actively looking for a job. Put your email there so that the employer or recruiter can contact you. Now, please, this is something I see very common in LinkedIn. What do is they put actively looking for a job in headline. Can I repeat? If you go and check LinkedIn, a lot of young people, especially young people, they will put there in their headline, actively looking for a job, fresh graduate, seeking for internship January 2022 to June 2022. Why can't you do that? Why can't you do that? What is the problem in doing that? Anybody? I know this is not supposed to be a Q&A, but yeah, anybody, just to get a response? Why you should not put in your LinkedIn headline, actively looking for job?
0702 0647.
Okay, so first and foremost, you are wasting space. Headline only got maximum 220 characters. Thank you very much. Why else you shouldn't put the headline actively looking for job? If you understand what I just said. Anyone? Other? Okay. I know it's getting ready for the launch, so better wrap things up. Why you shouldn't do that is because no employers will search for that. So if you remember, anything you put in your headline is the keyword search for employers when they use LinkedIn. So when they go to the search button, I can tell you safely, no employer will search the keyword actively looking for job.
0611.
Understand what we're trying to say here? So don't waste the space on the headline because the headline only got 200 characters, all right, for you to put there, right? So that is one thing that we will talk about. Next is your working experience. All your working experience should be documented here. But most of the mistake that most people I see do, what is they copy and paste their CV to put here. Don't. The format in CV and resume is very different. In CV and resume, we want you to be summarized, concise, and precise. In LinkedIn, my advice to everybody is to write as much as you can. Write until you hit the limit. Write until you cannot write anymore. Because why? The more information you feed into the system allows better search among the employers and recruiters. So your focus, therefore, is to complete this particular segment. Every job experience you have, please don't copy and paste the job description and put here. Write a full 2-3 paragraphs of your experience, achievement, what you did in the company, what were some of the unique things, unique projects, and so on and so forth. Because the more information you put into the system, you're attracting different people or different employers to look at your CV. And last one is on projects. Projects is the last column in LinkedIn which you can find. We really encourage you to put all the projects that you are involved in, either within commercial projects, NGO projects, university projects, and so on and so forth. This is one area I can safely say, this is personal experience. Because I document all my projects here, right? One of the opportunity came to me about 6 years ago through LinkedIn. So I get a LinkedIn message on a Monday night. This was a global consulting company from UK. They say, Muihan, we saw your profile. We particularly like one project that you've been doing. Can we have a con call to discuss an opportunity in KL? Okay, I said yes. So that was Monday night. Tuesday, we did a con call, right? This guy was UK. He was very happy. He said, okay, can you meet my project director based in KL tomorrow morning? I went for an interview on Wednesday morning, right? Thursday, he said, can you do another validation call with one of our colleagues in US? So we did another con call. Friday, I started the job. So what's supposed to be just 10 weeks engagement later turned out to be 22 weeks. And this job was very lucrative for me because why? It paid in USD. And my client was a multinational. All that because I tulis panjang lebar in my project segment. to be very honest.
0640.
So I really documented as much things as possible for the whole world to see, so that the right partner, the right collaborator, the right recruiter able to find me. So I would really encourage you. Some people say, hey, Muihan, isn't this very confidential? We shouldn't be sharing our CV, and things like that. Yes, you should be concerned about privacy and confidentiality. But at the same time, if you do not open up yourself, you will never get the opportunity, because your network is limited anyway, right? So only using this platform, globally can see and find you. And in my case, this was a global firm from the UK that found me. For a project in KL, no, not a project in UK. How coincidental is that? So that is also because I gave enough information to convince them to make the call. So I will really encourage all of you to do that. Okay. Second strategy on LinkedIn is on a daily basis. You should start connecting with professionals. Now, other social media, we will ask you to add, don't simply add people, only add friends and family. Betul tak? Jangan simply to follow people or add and things like that. But on LinkedIn, I will ask you to do the other way around. Ask yourself which company that you want to work for in the future. Which company you want to work for in the future. And on a daily basis, try to search for all the managers, all the directors, all the C-suite in this particular company on LinkedIn, and start to add them on LinkedIn. Now, when adding them on LinkedIn, please put a personalized note. Dear who and who, I am what and what. Give a short description of yourself. And then you just say, I think by connecting with you on LinkedIn, I'm able to learn much more from your posting. Right? So this is targeted. You don't only just add people that you have met. You don't only just met people who are your friends and so on and so forth. You are on a daily basis, if you want to be successful on this platform, on a daily basis, you need to start targeting those people that you want to work for in the future. And the future could be 5 years from now, 10 years from now. But you need to start the process today. Okay? Because I started the talk to say, in this platform, it will take a long time. It will take some time before you see the result. Okay? So you cannot expect to do today, see result tomorrow. You need to do at least 6 months, then you see the result. Related to this is also not only just adding them, but start engaging in their posts. So I can tell you safely, any posting that corporate managers in Malaysia do on their LinkedIn, maximum will get 20 comments, maximum. There are only few individuals on LinkedIn in Malaysia get a lot of comments. Who are they? Number one is Tan Sri Tony Fernandez. No need to say. Very popular figure. A lot of people comment. The other person is our finance minister, Tunku Zafro. Banyak comment. And then we also got politicians like YB Ong Kian Beng, which we get a lot of comments. But other than these few individuals, the rest of us, when we post, maximum I can tell you 5, 10, 20. If you start commenting on their posts, definitely they will check out your profile. So this is how it works, right? You build a very professional profile to make sure that you are attracting the right people. But at the same time, you actively go and connect and comment on people that you want to work for. When you do that, they will start to look at your profile. Melayu selalu cakap, tak kenal maka tak cinta kan? This is how you attract them to your profile. So when on a daily basis, the rule of thumb I always give my students or people in my class is, if you can do 5 comments a day, 5 comments will take you at least 15 minutes, satu hari. And the comments need to be something of thoughtfulness lah. Don't simply put good sharing, well done, congrats. Itu tak guna. But really give your point of view, give your perspective, give your understanding of what the issue is, what the strategy is, and so on and so forth. That will really attract employers to look at your profile. And by doing that on a daily basis, you are actually building conversation. One of the things that employers want to find in this very convoluted, very congested job market is individuals that we can associate with, that share values of our company, of our business, of our organization. The only way for us to understand you better is we need to listen to you talk, correct? Current system, you only get to talk 1 hour during job interview or 2 hours during job interview. That is very insufficient to really judge your character, really judge your point of view. But on a daily basis, if you comment on my post, put a 3-5 lines on your perspective, then I comment back, you comment back, I comment back. That is conversation, my friends. That is conversation happening on the internet. And if I can understand you after a few conversations, then I say, hey, this person not bad. The way he thinks, the way he feels, the way his values are. So that is how we really encourage you to start commenting. 5 a day. If cannot be 5 a day, 3 a day. If cannot be 3 a day, 5 a week. If you can do 5 a week, that is very good for a start. Because why? Most people don't do this. If you start commenting, you are the top 5 to 10%. And that's one that is attracting all the attention. Okay? Next is, of course, posting. What to post? Okay? So if you are still a graduate or a student, I will usually advise 3 things to post. Right? Post about your extracurricular activity, post about your projects, post about your internship. If your experience higher, I will always advise you to post about your learning. Learning from your work, learning from your project, learning from your business, and so on and so forth. And the minimum time to post a week is once a week. You should be posting at least once a week. And this once a week is actually very important. Because why? If you do once a week, 1 year you will do about 50 posts, 50 setahun, right? If let's say you start posting when you are first year in university, by the time you finish in your 4th year, you already posted 200 posting on your LinkedIn. Now, when I ask you to post, I really ask you to focus because a lot of branding coaches, they will ask you to give the viral strategy. You all know that the most viral content on LinkedIn or the most viral content on social media is actually cat videos. You all know that, right? So if you want viral content, no problem. But viral content need to translate into employability. Perlu menjanakan kebolehpekerjaan. Sia-sia saja kamu buat posting viral, tapi posting viral tu tak menyumbang kepada kebolehpasaran. Doesn't contribute to your employability. So within that intent and purpose, my advice is only just to focus on posting to demonstrate your experience, demonstrate your learning, demonstrate your achievement. Okay? Now, that is also important because why? Because before any job interview, you will always be very nervous. I'm still nervous if I go for a job interview today. That 30 minutes before you walk into the interview room, instead of trying to look at everything and try to look at your internet, if you can go to your LinkedIn account, you can start reading all the things that you have posted to refresh your memory of your achievement, of your learning, or your experiences. So that when you go into the interview room, you are more confident to tell the story. You are more confident to share the achievement. You are more confident to tell the experiences. Right? So posting is not only for others people to see, but posting is for you yourself to see. What I call digital diary. Right? So this is a documentation for your future job interviews. Because in every job interview, we telah lupa apa kita buat. So yang penting, this documentation allow us to refresh our memory before we enter the interview room. Right? So these are just some examples which I get my student to do. Okay? So this is like extracurricular activity. So this girl, after my class, she actually start documenting. And the good thing about internet and social media is we got a trend called throwback. Some people do throwback Thursday, some people do throwback Friday, some people do throwback Sunday. So you can start documenting all your past activities on the internet. Now, the more you share, the more relevant you become in the internet, that position yourself to your future employer. Okay? So it's okay. So people that come to my class, they say, hey, Muihan, after 3 weeks, I don't know what to post. You got tons of things to post, right? Just that you're not trying to post to make it viral. You're post to try to document your life so that other people can have an opportunity to get to know you. When they know you, there's a higher chance that they will employ you, okay? Or start the career conversation. So this is on internship. You can also post. This is also my student, Azam. Okay, and lastly, on final year project. So the platform also allows you to put videos, to put pictures, to put files, okay? So if you have done a very good presentation and that presentation is not P&C, you can actually upload as a posting to say you completed this presentation. Because seeing is believing. It's like your portfolio for future employers, okay? So this is what you can do. And I got roughly a few more minutes. Let me just wrap up very quickly. And lastly is to just consistently focus. So I like to use this to say that you must have a cadence, a big habit to post once a week, to do 5 comments a day or 5 comments a week, to add at least 3 to 5 professional managers on LinkedIn every week. So you must have a schedule, have a cadence, have a habit. That is very important. So I'd like to leave you with this very famous quotation from Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee always talked about the long-term consistency will always win against short-term intensity. So Bruce Lee said, I am not worried of one guy that learned 10,000 ways of kicking, me. But I'm worried about an opponent that learned one kick but practiced 10,000 times. Because if you tiap-tiap hari berlatih cara yang sama 10,000 kali, when you kick you will really die. So in LinkedIn case, you need to be consistently doing this until you see the result. And if you take my word for it, 6 months you will see the result. Not very, very long. But it's not short either. You need to consistently do it. Okay? So with that, thank you so much. If you want more tips, you can actually subscribe to this Telegram channel, right? So in this Telegram channel, all the techniques which I shared very briefly, I have a 5 to 6 short video, a YouTube video that you only can find on this channel. So it's an unlisted link. So the good thing about Telegram channel is if you subscribe today, you can scroll back all the way up to the first day that we have posted. So we've been sharing content since May last year. So yeah, you can actually find more details there. So with that, thank you very much. I'd like to pass it back to our organizers.
Terima kasih saya ucapkan kepada Encik Muihan atas perkongsian sebentar tadi. It was a very fruitful section and first impression will always be the best impression. That's what our speaker has told us just now. And saya pun nampak tadi ramai yang dengar dengan apa yang penceramah kita sampaikan tadi. Dan jangan lupa kita kena juga tengok angka giliran di depan kaca supaya kita tidak ketinggalan nombor giliran kita untuk menghadiri sesi temu duka. Alright. Burung kenari menuju ke payah, cuba mendarat mencari jerami. Tuan kemari besar maknanya memenuhi hasrat di hati kami. Hadirin sekalian, penceramah kita yang seterusnya merupakan dari Pertubuhan Keselamatan Sosial Perkeso yang merupakan Ketua Cawangan Bahagian Transformasi dan Strategi iaitu Encik Paul Kang dengan tajuknya Blue Ocean Way to Employability. So we are going to see what he's going to talk about. So dengan segala hormatnya dipersilakan.
Hi, good morning. Can you hear me?
0678.
All right. Wow. I'm not very nervous because the place is quite empty, so thank goodness it's not. Anyway, just to let you know, how many of you are okay Or how many of you need me to try to speak in Bahasa? Just put up your hands. Only one, no, that one doesn't count. You are with Pekeso. I could get you fired. All right. All right, let me give you a bit of background about myself. I've been in Pekeso just over 2 years. I came into transformation because I come from a management consulting background. I spent over maybe about 25 years. I worked as a management consultant and systems integrator. I was spent a bit of time with Accenture, Halliburton, and my last job when I retired about 2.5 years ago was with IBM. I was a general manager in IBM. And then after retirement, I was asked if I would be interested to serve, instead of chasing for profits, to serve like national service. So I said, why not come to Pekeso? So I've been here, and it has been quite an exciting thing. Now, after Muihan's session, which was really excellent, I said, I better say, hey, don't rush out to go and post in LinkedIn. You need content. You need to be employable. And not just to create the visibility about your employability. So this book struck my attention. I think it came to the market about this book called Blue Ocean. It came out developed by these two people who worked, very renowned academicians in the INSEAD institution in Europe. And they talked about, they set it up. They wrote this book about Blue Ocean. What is Blue Ocean? It was originally intended for people who are in business, whether it's employers or whatever. Because if you're looking for business, let's say you're out in the ocean of opportunity. You're looking for business, you're looking for food. Now, if you are competing, whatever is the resources in that part of the ocean you're swimming in where you are looking for business, is limited. Where you can be is limited by what you can do. And how much business you can get is limited by the number of people fighting for that food. So if you have limited ability, because that's where you can play, that's where you can swim, and a lot of people are like you, fighting for this very limited amount of food, the food will get taken up more and more. And then the fish will, instead of, when you are fighting each other for the business, you will start biting into each other. What happens when you bite into each other's flesh? There's going to be blood. And then it's going to get bloody. Then the ocean becomes red. So if you're fighting for business in a red ocean, you're not going to make a lot of money. You might just die. So what's the alternative? We have seen National Geographic documentaries and all that. You've seen some beautiful oceans, some beautiful terrain and all that. It is hard, the blue oceans, the nice mountains and all that, they are hard to access. Correct? The more difficult to access, the more beautiful it is. And the resources there are fantastic. The plants can grow, the animals can grow, the hunters can't go hunt them so easily. And it's blue. And the oceans there are really blue. The fishes there are really big. If you don't believe, ask people who work offshore on the oil platforms. There are oil platforms for West Malaysia off the east coast of Terengganu, Kerteh. They are 250 kilometers into the South China Sea. What sort of fishes go there or can be there? It's tough to get there. But they are there. There's very little competition. The fishes are huge. I've been offshore. I worked offshore before. The garupas are this long and they are not crunchy. They are really, really nice to eat. So, and the fishermen that go there, you need very high-powered boats because your boat must go out 250 kilometers and be able to come back. And if you fish during the monsoon, your boat must be able to withstand 12-foot, 15-foot waves out in the open sea, for example, in the South China Sea. But the blue ocean is hard to get to. but the food there is plentiful.
0711.
You can eat to your heart's content. So originally, that was the original intention of the book, for people to look for businesses. So when I looked at it, and then after being in Pekeso, I said, when we were putting together this program, I said, how do we help people become more employable? Because as we know, there's no secret, and unemployability is really high. We have over 100,000 unemployed graduates. You want to work, but the jobs are less and less available. Because, and then if the 100,000 is now, in a few months' time, another 50,000 are going to join the ranks of job seekers, hopefully not the unemployed. Now, then what happens to the employment market? It's getting smaller. The employment market becomes then a red ocean if everybody's fighting for the same finite jobs. So now my message to job seekers, and I don't mean just the fresh graduates, job seekers also relate to the people manning the booths. Okay, if you're in a government agency, you might not get fired. But if you don't up your capability, your employability, you're not going to get promoted. You're not going to get very employable. You won't have many opportunities to do so. So even the Red Ocean Strategy, although it is an old book, it is very relevant to the world still, because it's just one of those timeless books. And that's my personal belief. So today, my objective is to point out, for employability, you're as a job seeker, whether you're an unemployed person, be graduate, or somebody who got laid off, especially in the last 2 years, jobs have disappeared. And some jobs will never come back. So, how are you going to cari makan? Where are you going to cari makan? Hopefully, at the end of this hour, you would have some perspectives as to how you can try to get to an ocean that is bluer, if there's such a word, so that it's easier for you not just to find a job to cari makan, but to really have gratification and satisfaction from your job. Of course, we all need to feed ourselves first. If you go to Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you start with, you have no food, you can forget about self-esteem and all these fine, nice things. But if you have food to eat, you will want to get to the next level, and the next, and the next, and the next. To be able to get higher, you really need to move to a bluer and bluer ocean, and not just for today. You could have a great job today, but can you tell if a pandemic is going to hit, some strange virus is coming and is going to wipe you out? There are so many, I think that we are all in KL. You go to any mall, there are shops which are no longer in existence. Last week, my wife and I went to One Utama. We wanted to look for Old Asia Cafe. It was a cafe I patronized for the last 10 years. I was in IBM. The office was in One Utama. Full every day. We had to plan what time we got down from the lift. Otherwise, there's no food. We can't even get into the restaurant, Old Asia. And guess what? Old Asia has closed. Because the two big tenants in the tower, KPMG and IBM Tower, IBM and KPMG, there are what? About 5,000 employees there. And in the last 2 years, you'll be lucky if 500 of them work in the office. So the market is gone, Old Asia is gone, Oriental Cravings is gone, and God knows what else is gone. And there are many boarded up, kedai, tukaran akan datang. So that is very scary. So now, before you go, for those of you who are looking for jobs, you're unemployed, what Muihan did was excellent, but don't rush out first. Don't post hot air. You got to post content. Now, how do we get ourselves to be more employable? Now, let me figure out this clicker. All right. One of the most important things is this. In this corner here, if you're a job seeker, Are you one of many, or do you stand out?
0728.
Do you have the X factor? Example, are you reliable? Can you get things done? Really, is your whole orientation when somebody talks to you, do you have an attitude of customer service? Unless you are a hermit, unless you work from home completely on your own, you have to have a customer service mindset. So, do you have that? And so on and so forth. And attitude is a very big thing. How do you differentiate yourself? Experience, communication skills, language ability. And when we were planning this session, I asked the team, should I speak in Bahasa or should I speak in English? Obviously, after 25 years in the multinationals, my spoken Bahasa is not very good, as an understatement, even though I had a distinction for Bahasa in my MCE, I'm that old. But I said, I would like to speak in English because if you can't understand me, you have a problem. You are not going to be able to work with the multinationals if you can't understand me. So I challenge you today, if you have a language problem, don't walk out from this room, don't turn your back and go look for some other job. I would challenge you to say, how can I up my language skills so that I can understand that old guy or people like the old guy up on stage right now. And that's my excuse for speaking English, by the way. So there are many dimensions here. And very often, when I was in IBM, I was involved in the recruitment for a few years of the Team Blues. The Team Blues are the elite in IBM for fresh graduates. Minimum entry required, not entry, to get an interview, the minimum is a CGPA of 3.5. And then people started coming to CGPA of 3.5, and I was really disappointed in the candidate. I told the candidates, a number of candidates, I told HR, I don't want 3.5 anymore. I want 3.8. And we got a bunch of them. They were really good. But to get into a Team Blue as well, you need to have pass the IBM aptitude test. For the consulting division, the pass mark is 70%. The accountants can come in at 40% because they don't have to do the kind of work the consultants do. So that is how difficult it is. So in the interviews for Team Blue, I don't even look at the results because the results got them into the interview room. It's not my job to look at the results anymore. That was the HR screener. So what do? I look for differentiators. Every time somebody came to me and started telling me what's in my website, I say, look, I've been more than 10 years in this firm. Don't tell me something that I live every day and something you read last night. Tell me something about you. What are you going to be differentiating yourself with? Do you know I'm interviewing 25 of you today? I'm only going to hire 5. All 5 of you have 3.5 or 3.8 and above. So why should I hire you? And some of them just go, and I was a mean guy. I mean, if the guy is a lousy candidate, I terminated the interview after 5 minutes. And the guy somebody said, oh, Mr. Paul, you are really mean. You terminated me. I came all the way from Temerloh for this interview. I said, learn your lesson. If you want to work for one of the best IT companies in the world, you better bring value to me. This is not Christmas. I'm not Santa Claus. I'm not here to throw money and give it to you. So I said, I spent 10 minutes talking to the guy to say, you should ask yourself what value you're going to bring to this firm. I've got money to give to the right guy, but why should I give it to you? And there was one guy who was, I said, okay, do you have $100 with you? He said, no. I said, if you did, can you give it to me? He said, why should I? I said, good. Why should I give you 3,500 ringgit a month? If you don't deserve it. I only asked for $100 and you're asking me for 3,500. Who has to convince who that they are better for the job, right? So, tough to be interviewed by old-timers like me, but you know why? We see a lot of candidates. And sometimes we just want to make it fast and see who is actually good. So, what the employers are looking for, if I can just put an acronym, easy to remember would be ASK. Attitude, the skills, and the knowledge. And those are the kind of things that we were looking for in terms of employability. Like I said, I have never interviewed, I think I've interviewed maybe 300, 400 people in those years before I left IBM. And I have never opened the academic transcripts of any candidate, because that was for screening purposes. And if a candidate came into an interview room expecting to get a job because their guy got first-class honors, so are the other 25 candidates. So I don't look at what's a prerequisite. I look at what you need. And what were we looking for?
0638.
It's how a person appears to the prospective employer. And even for those who are employed, you have jobs. We'll come to some slides this shortly after this. I have only 6 slides. How do you continuously reinvent yourself, improve, and transform yourself so that even the boss that you go to and see every morning, every 3 months, the boss will say,
0756.
your boss should be able to notice every 3 months that you are changing. I've got a few guys who are reporting to me here, and they know I'm a pain in the ass to work with, because don't ask me if you do something very well. After 3 months, that's expected.
0756.
It's just like buying a car.
0756.
Anybody expects your car to have less than 2 mirrors. The wing mirrors, left and right.
0715.
Anybody expects one mirror only? No, right? When I first had my driving license at the end of 1976, that's how old I am. In 1976, a lot of the cars had only one mirror.
58.
So when you got a second mirror, it was a big deal. After the mirrors, what were we looking for? Can you put a small fan on the dashboard? You ask somebody to do some drilling, pull wires here and there, and a fan. Come on, if I put anybody in a fan, there's people wearing those blue uniforms there, put them, anybody with a car and a fan, they will run away. Aircon is a given. So, job is the same. Ishraq, you do a good job now. I expect the car to be aircon. I expect this, I expect that. So what you think is great today is what I expect as a baseline. So if you work for me in transformation, you better come up with something better every few months. So even for those who are employed, who have got cushy jobs here, my colleagues in Pekeso, who probably don't need to worry about being fired, are you reinventing yourself? Do you have the misfortune of reporting to somebody like me, who's looking for something different all the time? That's the nature of my business in transformation. So if you're in operations, any operations people here? Okay, they're not here. So operations guys, I am not talking like your boss, so it's a different thing. Now let's move on. So to this one. Now this is one of the most important models in Blue Ocean, which is your strategy canvas or your value curve. When you go for an interview, you need to know what are your attributes that you're offering. Academic, extracurricular activities, have you volunteered for anything, language, attitude, problem solving, and I put there MTH because I didn't want to cloud. MTH means acronym for make things happen. Can you make things happen? Because in the interview, I test for those things. So, let me give you an example of 2 types of candidates. Let's have the smart guys that I used to see. The one in this orange, red thing. Academic top student. So, this side is impressive, no impact. So, if you are a straight A student, you are up here. But I know a lot of straight A students because when I studied in University in Malaya, we never talked to them because their mothers will still come bring them lunch and all these things. They hang around in the library. They don't know how to have fun. And they don't know if this toilet is full, where the second toilet is. They were so nerdy, we thought they were useless. So because they never got involved in any extracurricular activity, they never organized any seminar in school, so they didn't have to tell the VIP, sir, this toilet is full, go there. A simple thing like toilet, you'll be surprised how many people went through university and didn't know that there were some toilets under the certain staircases. And who didn't know? The straight A students. I'm just having fun. If you're a smart kid who is very, who knows how to live life, I apologize. But for those who spend all their life working towards a CGPA of 4.0, chances are you never had time to volunteer. And language, smart kids, usually the parents, nowadays parents are very kiasu lah. English and Malay, bahasa, you have to do in school. Very kiasu, sent to Chinese school so that you have 3 languages. So the smart kids will be very good. And today, everybody wants to go to China to work because there's big money there, 1 billion people at 1.3 billion. So you might be good. Now, attitude is a thing which I found which was a drawback for Team Blues. Because they're smart kids, they had, okay lah, some of them are blessed, gifted with very high IQ. They never had to fix any problem in the world. All they need to do is go to the class, sit down, pay attention, read the books, go to exam, get 100 marks. So it's not that they have a bad attitude. They never had a chance to demonstrate that they got good attitudes. And because it is not developed, you take your 4.0 CGPA, you go for an interview, you pass the aptitude test in IBM, for example. The IBM test is actually just a high-end IQ test lah.
0750.
You pass the test, you go in. You have never had a can-do attitude because life was very easy for you. Do you think in that 5 minutes you can change from a smart kid who was not challenged
73.
to demonstrate strong attitudes, etc., etc.? Do you think you can go there and suddenly become the can-do guy? Do you think you can do like the... I love the uniform units. Because in schools, they got no money. But every time it's sports day or this carnival, that carnival, the sergeant or whatever will have to do the impossible. Make a makeshift bed out of nothing. The entrance to the school, well, the scouts will have to put up the very impressive facade. The teacher gives them $5 and they have to put up something very, very impressive. And that actually helped to build their attitudes a lot. So the smart kids don't have that. So likewise, if they are smart, they didn't have to solve many problems and they've never had to make things happen. Now, in comparison,
0760.
the guy who chose to spend time under the coconut tree, lepak a lot, here and there, got his basics done,
0763.
a lot of ECAs. In this, I blame the school teachers. They never ask the smart students to do the work because these fellows got to report that they are the 10A students so that it goes into the newspapers. So the teachers leave them alone to study. The non-straight A students get to do all the other things. But in the interview thing, what Muihan was talking about, when you put up your experiences and all these things, these guys score very highly.
07.
Make things happen? Oh, piece of cake for the guys who have been doing everything. So now let me ask you a question. A and B.
0739.
Who is the more valuable employee? If you are looking for the scientist, A is maybe you might have to hire the scientist. But looks like most of us here are employed.
0746.
I don't see the students here. So ask a lot of you, and you can put up your hands. When you are hiring, if you have these 2 candidates, how many of you would pick your A? Put up your hands. How many of you would pick B? All right, some haven't decided, but from the show of hands, B is the thing. So what it means is employability far transcends the academic dimension. Because what a candidate offers as employability is perceived as value. The employer is looking for potential value of a candidate. Now, if a candidate has all these attributes, and in fact, some of these candidates today have done more than what I've been through in many years of my life. I mean, Ishraq here, Ishraq, can you just show who you are? I've been mentioning your name. Ishraq has a good friend who studied with him in the UK. His name is Iman. Iman was organizing things for the student body in the UK for events, especially when big shots wanted to come and all these things. So Ishraq could handle protocol, Ishraq could handle events, and Ishraq could do a lot of things without any budget. And then the booth at that, there's a Cyberdyne there, the CEO of that subsidiary is our rehab facility, Dr. Hafiz. He said, oh, I'm going to take him. So Ishraq gets a promotion after 2 years in Perkeso, and he gets taken to rehab because Ishraq is a guy who can make things happen. Iman, Ishraq. So, okay, you have to do that now. So Iman is the guy who got hired. So anyway, long story short, the perceived value is extremely important. Because you may not, a fresh graduate may not have the track record for delivery. So how? In fact, a straight A student, probably the value of the academic materials, it's only less than 5%. I'll just share with you, my academic degree is in English literature. I spent my whole life in IT. I accidentally passed an IBM aptitude test, went to work in IT, and then I said, how the heck am I going to compete with the other IT graduates? Okay, I could learn to code. Coding is quite fun. My maths used to be quite good, so I can code. But after 1 month, 2 months, I know only one language. And the computer science graduate comes out and says, oh, I know blah, blah, blah. The joker knows 10 languages. I know one. So I said, every 3 months I learn one. The floor has completed 3 programs. So I had to go and find other things to do. Today is not a story about me, so I had to go and find, so that I projected a value that was different to my boss. And the joke is this. After 2 years, I came in a cohort of 10 people. After 2 years, all the other 9, computer science, mathematics, and physics graduates, they all reported to me. So they went to the boss. They wanted to have a strike. Went to the boss and said, boss, why is Paul our boss? The boss said, you did everything, we did everything we asked. Yeah, but he said, when I need something that is out of the ordinary, this joker gets it done. So I got promoted, and all of them reported to me. I didn't check on their programming because I couldn't spell one end of the program from the other, but I could make things happen. So that was my personal experience.
0711 0559
Another model for this. So if a person knows, I mean, the purpose of this session is to introduce some of these models from Blue Ocean. Okay, you know, you have to have a value proposition represented by a value curve, if you can plot it out. But what goes into the value curve? How do you know what to improve? Just now Moihan said, you got to tell people what you're doing. You got to tell people what to do. You got to tell, what do I do? And the next model within the same book,
0764
the authors of the book created the 6 paths framework. How do you look across and see where the ocean could be blue? Where do you start with? And you look out. I'm going to pick just 3 examples here. You look across alternative industries. What else is happening in the rest of the world? You may not be so familiar, but how could this work for me? You look across, or within even if it's within your industry group, a very strategic group. For instance, if you got a son and daughter that's done medicine, and there's a long queue to get a good job in medicine today, what should you do? Within the medical profession, that booth there, right there, we have people from our rehab facility. Because a subspecialty within medicine is rehabilitation. It is a very unglamorous job.
0743
People who are less able, who are sick, When times are good, when we are clear, or rather if you stand in front of the TV screen, that booth, you will see a video of a rehab facility. How we treat 200 to 300 patients a day. I'm not promoting rehab right now, but I'm just saying within this industry, there is a subspecialty which people should look into. If you can't make money as a GP, why not be a rehab person? Our chief therapist, Engwa, is there. Go talk to him about physiotherapy. Engwa will never be out of a job. Engwa will only be out of a job if his brain stops working, and he cannot recommend any therapy. Between Engwa and a medical doctor, I think Engwa is in far better demand. But whether they pay him that much, I don't know. But he is in demand. So, all these things, what do you do? Let me give you an example. The values that we saw in the value curve just now, the value curve, where can you find some of these attributes? For example, I think just about everybody here walks into a fast food joint. Yesterday, I went down to the food shack just to get some nuggets. When we go, something we take for granted, buying our food or receiving our food, whether you go in person or you order for delivery, customer service. From the fast food guy, like in food shack, or bank personnel. How many of you have got stories to tell of your banking experience, calling a bank or going live? Good or bad, doesn't matter. Just put up your hands if you have banking experiences over teh tarik. You definitely want to tell me, oh, yo, this bank, known for bad service, don't ever go there. I wonder why I go there. I mean, I dare not say anything. They might be here in this building, right? So, but some banks, when you go there, you say, wow, that person was spectacular. I read a book once about a businessman who took a holiday to Greece with his family. So he had his family with him, kids as well. They went to a restaurant, they ordered the food, and the son, the young kid says, I want a Coca-Cola. The waiter says, sorry sir, we serve Pepsi. We are contracted with Pepsi. And the kid goes, I want Coca-Cola. And then he's the center of attention, he starts jumping around. And the guy says, okay, sir, he told the boy, I will get your Coca-Cola for you. And 10 minutes later, the Coca-Cola comes. And this businessman shared in the book. He asked, how do you get a Coca-Cola since you are contracted to bound by Pepsi? He said, just don't take a picture, don't post anywhere in social media. My manager is free. He's doing the accounts in a back room. I asked him to go to the 7-Eleven to buy the Coke. Now, isn't that a spectacular example of customer service? So when we look at such examples, then we ask ourselves, if I were to plot customer service on my value curve, how would I score? Customer service always stands out. And so on and so forth. Grooming. You have seen Zeti is going to come, I'm sure. I'm sure Zeti is, I haven't met her before, but I'm sure she's dressed to the hilt because the management consultants know how to look very good. Because, like it or not, if I came up here, I was asked to wear this t-shirt, so I don't know whether it looks good or not. But if I'm here, supposed to be a management consultant to advise you what to do with your business or your business problem, would you have confidence in me if I dress like a dog? So rather than have the misconception that just because I dress lousy, I'm unkempt, I've got body odor and all these things, I would rather not let you think that I have a problem or you have a problem with me. So I will dress well. So the management consultants, I look at, and seriously, when I joined Accenture, I had a serious problem. My boss called me after the second week and said, Paul, yep, your work is good, but Your shirt looks like it needs to go for retreads. Retreads? He said, yeah, tayar celup. Baju you macam nak kena tayar celup. I didn't understand. First time in my life, I was already 31 years old when I joined Accenture. And somebody says, my baju kena buat macam tayar celup. Another fellow told me, he said, go and get a new shirt. Because my collar here, ada bulu-bulu. Then my pants sudah berkilat. Iron so many times until it shines on its own. Okay, so I had to spend money and get new clothes. And so on and so forth. Hygiene. Today, we see a lot of delivery fellows.
0719.
When I see the delivery guys, Grab riders, yes, they have a hard life and whatever, but I'm usually very impressed with a guy who has excellent hygiene. Personally, this is a personal beef. How you smell is very important. And it doesn't affect the fact that he or she has given me my food. But if the guy smells good, I give the guy a tip. Because in spite of Grab rider sudah naik motor 2-3 jam, 4 jam, 5 jam, datang ke rumah saya, bau dia, hey, okay, I think that deserves $5. I just wanted, then the guy said, what's the tip for? One fellow, I gave him a $5 tip. The fellow said, that's for smelling nice. Oh, okay, thank you very much. So, all these attributes here, if you don't have them, where do you find them? This is what Blue Ocean is about. When you look at certain attributes which you like, sifat-sifat yang bagus, mana kita boleh cari example tu? Then you look at it, and then you have to ask yourself, now, how do I get that? Now, just now, Mr. Ong is in this audience here, so I'll just use his name as an example. Mr. Ong, can you put up your hand just to wave? Mr. Ong specializes in data analytics. So sometime next week or so, we will have a call to see how we possibly can consider getting Mr. Ong's help to help computer science graduates. Computer science graduates, orang yang belajar computer science, boleh buat programming. Programming, buat build app semua. App tu boleh kumpulkan data. Tapi, macam mana nak dapat maklumat selanjutnya dari data? That is data analytics. And within the university syllabus, probably data analytics is not a major thing to be taught. And maybe the lecturer has not learned it himself or herself because it's a different science today. So when you look at some of these things, you say, if you are interviewing for how many of you here are employers or your boss that interviews people? Can you put up your hands? Nobody in this room interviews people. One, anybody, interviewer? Farah, don't lie, you interview people all the time, employment services. Okay, if you interview a computer science person, would you be interested in what the fellow can program? Or what intelligence the guy knows how to pull out of data? The latter is the more important, right? So, things like that. Now, and another one would be fitness and ability, fitness and skills. After my Form 6, I did my Form 6 in 1978. In those days, it was called the HSC. Now it's called the STPM. My friend said, hey, let's go apply for a job in case we don't qualify for university. Okay lah. So I applied, everybody else applied, police inspector. But because I was a reasonably good student and a school athlete, so I got interviewed there. And then the boss, banyak paku punya. School athlete. Tapi polis, you boleh lawan dengan orang jahat ke? So, one of the things in life, because I'm from kampung, saya budak kampung. Kau tak tahu gaduh, tak tahu lawan, memang kena bully. Tapi kalau you belajar kungfu semua, nobody will touch you. So, by the time I was 6th form, I had a black belt in karate. Just to take care of myself. But when I had a black belt in karate, I had no trouble. So what happened was this. So I told the boss, I said, yeah, I can. He said, what can you do? I said, then he had a corporal in the room, the guy who ushered us into the room. Corporal tu, I said, okay, minta tolong corporal try to attack me. Because I look at the corporal, he was a bit skinny, so I look at his hands. He didn't have the hands of a martial artist. So the corporal came through a punch, pop, 3 seconds, I put him down on the floor. I didn't dare hit him. I got the job. I didn't become a policeman because I went to university. So now, why did I give that example? Some of these things, values, you can read, you can understand. But to be able to claim it and say, I'm good in it, some you have to go for a long-term course. Some you have to go and work there. So for example, if you say customer service is not theory, you know. Kalau you nanti kita perlu lapar, kita turunkan the ground floor there or the lower ground, nak beli barang, oh customer service tu gubuk sikit lah. Oh that one terror. If I put you there on the other side, do you think you can deliver straight away? Customer service perlukan practice. So if let's say, some of you just came in student kan, kalau ada peluang, you go and work with in McDonald's every weekend. 2 hours. Never mind the pay, $5 an hour. Don't worry about the money. Just go and work there. And after 3 months in McDonald's, your customer service will be like that. And when you put it dalam resume, saya kerja di McDonald's tiap-tiap hujung minggu, then I understand customer service, I understand this, understand that. That's how you add to your resume. So some of these values, other value nilai-nilai ni, kita terpaksa kerja, dapat pengalaman. My youngest boy is 21 years old. He's doing the degree in mass comm. Next year, he's in final year. He needs 3 months of internship with the production house. So the night before the interview, he said, Dad, how do I get this internship? Because you have a lot of candidates. So true enough, interviewer tanya dia, why should I take you? My son dia bukan tebal betul lah. He said, told the employer, I think I can do whatever you want me to do. But if you have trouble deciding between me and another guy, I come for free. Okay, you're hired. Now, did I think of this? No, I did not think of this. This example came from Donald Trump, former president of the United States. He is a billionaire. He runs his own company. He had this program called The Apprentice. Every year, he will find one apprentice to work for him. Dia bayar gaji. The selection process, memang tough one. The smartest guys come. The salary of an apprentice is 240,000 US a year, 20,000 a month. So it's very competitive. So finally, dua orang. Then one guy, he won. Donald Trump announced, okay, this is our apprentice, so-and-so, Mr. A. Then the second place one, Mr. Trump. He said, what has the loser got to say? You took him, you're going to pay him $250,000 US a year? Yes, that's the price. If you take me, you can have me for free. So Donald Trump said, sorry, billionaire, memang kedukut. Now, how many of you bought tickets from Air Asia and trying to get the money? Cannot get the money back, right? Tony Fernandez, billionaire. Sama, dia orang billionaire semua sama punya. So Donald Trump said, oh, you're fired. You have the job. So I look at the example I gave my son, and he's going to start his apprenticeship in January, thanks to Donald Trump. Now, there are other types of skills there and competencies. The purpose of this is not to say, this is tetap, benda ni memang tetap. No. Nilai-nilai ni, you have to look and see what is suitable for you. You just need to ask yourself, can I do more? How do I make myself more employable? Because if you come out from university, or college or whatever, you ikut syllabus tu, apa you dapat? You don't get a value curve. You get a sigil that says you have a diploma or you have a degree, apa-apalah. Ijazah, certificate, sama ada certificate SPM, diploma atau itu saja you dapat. It is not the role, itu bukan tanggungjawab university atau college atau sekolah untuk bagi you value curve yang lengkap. No. You go to university, college or school to get a specific qualification and you come up with that, and does that guarantee you employability? No. So, a call to action. So this one I curi from Muihan Penola. It's a common term for management consultants. This is the third aspect in Blue Ocean strategy. There are three big models: the value curve, the 6 paths to Blue Ocean, and this one, the call to action. What is this call to action? Kalau kamu tinjau apa nilai-nilai yang you boleh tawarkan kepada majikan, or you tawarkan nilai-nilai you sendiri, you must see apa benda yang bagus. Tapi saya belum ada. So, you create. For example, if you like customer service, tetapi as a student or where you're working right now, you don't have an opportunity for customer service, then you have to create, buat saluran baru untuk dapat pengalaman ni. Even Pekeso people, how do you have customer service? You just volunteer to follow a squad prihatin around, take leave for 1 week, call Mustafa Daraman, and I'm sure he will send you to, or Ismail Abi, he's downstairs. Encik Ismail, can I follow your squad prihatin for 1 week and learn what is customer service like? Because the squad prihatin people go to our insured people and visit them, talk to them, Pachi, how are you, and all these things. Especially they got a new wheelchair, they lost their legs, they got artificial limbs and all that. That is a lot of customer service. Okay? Now, you create.
0702.
Some, you're okay, you sudah start, you ada benda tu. Tapi kena naikkan lagi. Then you raise the level, you do more. You have to figure out how to do more. Now, some, you should reduce below the standard. Just now Muihan said you have to post in LinkedIn. Kalau you nak buat LinkedIn kan, posting what did Muihan say, how often? 1 a week,
0763.
something like that. Now, if you're posting 10 times a week, maybe it's an addiction. LinkedIn is good, but too much of it can make it an addiction, right? So,
0727.
you have to reduce. So, non-value adding, teh tarik. It is good to go and exchange about the world news, the political landscape, election coming. There will be a lot of teh tarik sessions.
0733.
Tapi kalau you kaki teh tarik tiap-tiap malam,
0750.
tak sempat nak belajar, tak sempat nak buat apa-apa pun, kena kurangkan. Then,
0792.
some of which you have to eliminate altogether.
0704.
That time wasters,
0786.
unhealthy habits. There's a counter at the back there. Armed Forces. Kalau nak jadi askar, police is downstairs. You nak jadi askar, nak masuk Navy, nak jadi Pascal,
0776.
but you smoke a lot, and if you drink, you might have to stop that.
0792.
Because it's going to be very hard to get into the uniform units if you don't have. So this example, so kalau you buat 4 benda ni, it will create a new value curve for you.
0776.
So what is important is this. Everyone, whether you are a student
0799.
or you're working, you need to continuously transform yourself. And what do? I recommend every 3 months
0792.
you plot a new value curve.
0792.
Every 3 months. So you start with here,
0704.
X. So X is here, Academic tak boleh tukar lah, because you already got your degree. ECA maybe cannot change because you finished school already. But for the other things, you can have, let's say, this D is for December, which is now. You plot your value curve in December. And then you pick some of these values that you want to improve. Then you cari macam mana aktiviti, kerja part-time, volunteer ke apa-apa. Bulan March, you plot again.
0777
And at the end of March, see whether how you fare.
0704
Then you cari lagi. How do you continuously improve and transform yourself? Then this is bulan Jun atau Julai. Now, let me ask you this question. If you do this exercise over the next 6 months, and let's say this is how this is your value curve. In 6 months' time, are you more employable? In 6 months' time, should your employer consider you for a promotion? Because seriously, for some of these skills, even if, let's say, how many of you can speak Mandarin? Boleh cakap dalam bahasa Mandarin? 1. So, 2. 2 Mandarin speaking in this room. Now, the 2 Mandarin speakers, keep your hands up. If I go for Mandarin class for 3 months, can I learn to speak and write some things? 3 months, boleh?
0780
I'm still talking to 2 of you.
0805
Let's say it's language lah. In 3 months' time, would my value
96
go up for Mandarin in 3 months?
0843
Sir, 3 months boleh? Yes. 6 months. 1 year can cari makan already, correct? 2 years can go to China to work already. So, that is what I'm challenging you to do today. Some things need more time. Some things need Google only. Google and YouTube are one of the best things on this planet. And my last point today is this. We need
0605
role models. Like I told you, saya budak kampung. Mana saya tahu apa benchmark tu? So we need to know what the benchmarks are. So let's say, if I want to keep fit, Shohei Ono, 3 world championships, 2 Olympic gold medals.
009
Pound for pound, best judoka in the world right now. He has got his training videos on the internet, how he trains. You look at his training during the MCO, you will get scared. Just now Muihan was saying, here talking about the Bruce Lee, his last slide. He's worried, Bruce Lee, about the person who kicks 1,000 times. Shohei Ono practices the uchimata, the technique to throw a person 1,000 times a day, every day. So, Shohei Ono is one example. Here, these are special forces. Malaysia, kita call their Pascal for the army, and police, UTK. In the US, you can apply to be considered for the special forces. But, to prepare to be fit enough for the special forces, you have to train. You have to sign up for programs to be as fit enough to be a member of a special forces team.
0839
And so you go to the internet, you can Google Navy SEALs training. There are people who offer that. So if you want to have the discipline to be fit or whatever, go there and Google. Doesn't matter whether you want to be a police or soldier, but if you want to be super fit, you have to look at role models.
0796
If you want to look at sacrifice,
0585
Antoine Graceman, member of the last World Cup championship team for France. He had to leave his home at 12 years old to go to a football academy. Now I ask tiap-tiap orang di sini, kalau you nak meningkatkan employability kamu, kebolehan kamu, are you prepared to pay the price? Are you prepared to sacrifice? If you're not, you will be average. I'm sorry, unless God bless you very unfairly, you're smart, you have this, you're that, semua boleh lah, okay lah. Some people are like that, very disgusting, but very small percentage. But for the most of us, normal human beings, my challenge to you is, are you prepared to sacrifice? Are you prepared to pay the price? And my last example for today, Admiral McRaven. He was a commander of the US Navy SEALs that went out and put an end to Osama. This is not a political statement, so I don't care whether it's right or wrong. He gives in his session, Admiral McRaven, in a commencement address to the University of Texas, he talked about 10 examples from the Navy SEALs. And one of the things he says is make your bed every day. That kind of thing. It's funny, but it's very, very good, and it's one of the best commencement speeches in the world. I have 2 minutes. Does anybody have any questions for me, which I can try to answer? Nope? Okay, thank you very much. Hand you back to the MC.
Terima kasih diucapkan kepada Encik Paul Kang atas perkongsian sebentar tadi. Encik Paul merupakan Ketua Cawangan Bahagian Transformasi dan Strategi di Pertubuhan Keselamatan Sosial Perkeso. Mr. Paul, I have something to say. Basically, I've heard rumors or gossips about people who studied English literature. They said that mereka akan cakap pantun, berkiasan, rima AB, but you are such a person that I look up to. Your speech was impressive and direct to the point. So, hands off to you. Thank you so much. Ya, sila berikan tepukan kepada Encik Paul. Biasanya saya akan dengar, even my friend, bila dia bercakap, dia bertutur, I'll be like, what are you trying to say? Direct to the point. Kenapa kiasan sangat? Kenapa rima AB? Barulah saya faham sebab dia belajar kesusastraan. So biasalah orang yang belajar begitu. Baiklah, sesi diteruskan. Sidang hadirin yang disanjungi. Terima kasih kepada para hadirin yang telah menemani saya sejak daripada pukul 10 pagi tadi. Bahut-bahut syukriya. Dan kepada anda yang baru sahaja